I tell you, unmistakable. Speaking of Stephen, you know, say Stephen, Richie Stevens have a band there from Italy named Scanation, and them are up on the Sumfest. But I want to tell you, there is a ska band now on the British chart, and it's not Richie Stevens and the Scanation band. White band too. Yes, Richie Stevens, what you say? Ska band, depend British charts again. Not Jamaican band. May I tell you, man. Well, since you're on the Lovers Rock, I could go on the Lovers Rock now. Brand new, as we said, this was Dinah King and Richie Stevens was brand new. We'll give you next brand new one again. Here goes. Marcia Griffiths. Original Brotherhood of Man song. From where I got school, we know them song, yeah. Brotherhood of Man, united we stand. Gone over in fine style. As we have said, sound like it had in Glands. Them children don't have a chance out here, so. Serious thing. Jeremy, make sure say you ship them guy glad, you know. Yes. Let me tell you, sweet voice. Marjorie K. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. You know, we have some sweet music I make, you know, but them hard to play upon radio because I will heap of the disc jack them stuck in our groove. Yes, them hard to play. I get ear play because the disc jack them stuck in our groove, Rasta. May I tell you, man. But you have to be conscious. Conscious is the mind that appreciate all music. It's really an exalting state of mind, you know, music we are talking about, exalting state of mind. But you know, we have some things to tell the people about before we go into the crux of the matter, the meat of the matter. Yeah. We want to tell the people about the Charlestown celebration, which is June the 23rd. You know, I was here, one of the years them was up there. It was wonderful. We see that it might be even more wonderful this year, because we guess what? We're going to play up there. We will be up there the 23rd of June. Lot of exciting things going on. So we want to tell the people them in a Portland area, the people them in a St. Mary area, and even Kingston. And if you want to come from Westmoreland or nothing, Charlestown Maroon, Quaco celebration, June the 23rd. We want to also tell you that all the people them who are listening to me in New York, and I talk about Muta, this and Muta, when I see you, well, you know, Roy Wilkins Park, this Sunday, we're going to be there, you understand? So for those of you who really have some gifts, all the gifts where you promised me from them time until now, when we don't reach a New York, how long now? Compile me up in a Queens, you understand? We have enough space. We carry some empty bag and suitcase. We also carry some empty suitcase to do when we come. Because some people have some things to give me how long now and they never want to post it. So, Sunday is the opportunity. Queens, Roy Wilkins Park, Sunday. We want to also tell you now that we want to read this, believe you me. Somebody tell me this letter here. I just get this letter here and I want to read it. But the headline in the paper say, UK lottery won't pay a Jamaican £500,000 jackpot because them say him illegal. A Jamaican is seeking to collect £500,000 or roughly 79 million Jamaican from a United Kingdom lottery he claims to have won in 2013. St. Ann resident Redcliffe Harrison said he has been denied his chances of a big payback because he was I wonder if we can get that. We can't wait till tomorrow for talk about it. I wonder if we can get his brother up on the phone. Make us see if we can get the brother up on the phone. Meanwhile, in between time now, we play this song. Here goes. Yeah.
Yeah, brother, Mota, you're right.
Are you right, Milita? Yeah?
Yes, man. Them come up there 2 times, come up there and get a security guard.
Yeah, but one day me up here in a bridge. If you go 2 times, you come up here. How long ago you come up here?
Me come up last month and me come up the month before.
And the first me see the letter.
You know when I get on here, man, I want to see man, I years me I stay now.
And the first me see the letter though. Yeah, well the first me see the letter because that's why
meet already took down a peppers.
May you meet down a peppers?
Yeah man, when I used to play down a fires, yeah man, sit a fire there.
Yeah, but that's a long time, brethren.
Yeah,
where you tell me where you well I don't want to talk about no history, I want to talk about this catch pot business where you work with. It's what go on there, sir. It's what? Jackpot. Now 500-ton jackpot in England.
Pound we talk about, English pound we talk about.
Yeah, so you did that in England?
Yes man, what you mean man? 12 years over there man.
And you did illegal?
Yeah.
Then
I see him as just see him Jamaican lawyer make up the thing because he may have a paper them and saying nothing and I see him immigration in my prison for 2 months.
Alright, so tell me something now. You're in England for 12 years illegal. You buy a cash pot, a jackpot, you buy a lottery ticket and you win. When you win it?
It's the 15th of March 2013.
Alright now, so you go for catch in the ticket and what them say to you?
Listen me now, it makes you cash in the ticket. The 17th, and you get arrested the 15th.
Where you get arrested for? Where you get arrested for?
Yeah?
Where you get arrested for?
If you immigration.
Illegal thing.
No?
Illegal. You're illegal in the country.
Yes.
Okay. So when them do deport you?
No man, then the Home Office not give me a letter man say them deport me man because no deportation order was made against me. So them say I'm free to come back.
Come back.
Me have the letter, man. Me have the letter.
So you go back since that?
No, me not go back since that.
Why you not go back?
Because me can't afford to go back.
Oh, you can't afford to go back?
No.
Well, 500-ton pound, they could have buy a plane for go back and come back and go back and come back.
Then that me tell them man, but the people from them find out say me not straight to that because me have people can show so they were willing to give me money before them find out say.
Yeah, but we no hold on. Alright. Before them find out them willing to give the money, but when them find out them decide to them not give the money because it's illegal alien.
Yes, because them a try tell I say.
But where you are say? The law say you must still get it in England?
Yes, the law because you contact two lawyer down here and they assure me.
No, not the lawyer down here. If the law up there, me not talk the lawyer down here, so. The law up there say an illegal alien can collect a jackpot money from an English firm.
Yes, man. What you mean?
What you mean? Me don't know what I mean. Me ask you.
Yes, man. Yeah, man.
Oh, which law in England say that?
Then, alright, one time because me have a fiancé, up there, and she check it out, and then say them supposed to give it twice. You see, because the law no look here.
Who said they must give it to you? Who said they must? Who said they must give it to you? Who says so?
The law them says me entitled to it.
The law them in England?
Yes, so me entitled to it.
But so why you never get it now? Why you never get it?
Because when we met the claims, I make it from the detention center. It because I went at the 15th, I signed it. The 15th was a Friday, and I find out the Saturday. So I sign it and so I collect it the Monday, and I get arrested the Sunday. Me have all of the paperwork them in to prove everything. Everything me have the paperwork. The people them just have me a run around. Them since to come down, them change the reference number, how much time, and every time you call and them say, alright, what is the reference number to the claim? And I tell them, they say that it's not the right one. So I say, oh, come on, the right one, and this will give me. And 6 months later, we get a next letter with a different reference number. So when you question, then change to a different one. And just so up, me don't know the right reference number for you if you tell them, say, that. So then, me have how much reference number for say, boy.
So you still have the ticket, the winning ticket, you still have it?
No, me not have it. But me have the document so them tell me, say, you can still get it without the ticket.
Yeah, but them say, wait, no, hold on. That is before them find out say illegal.
Yes, sir.
Them give you that before them find out say you're illegal.
Yes. Yes, then give me that before them find out some illegal.
So,
then tell me, 20 days when I go text give me the money, Me have all the letters tell me, say,
yeah, but them never know say you're illegal. And that me I said, them never know say you're illegal when them a say all of that.
No, they never know that.
Yeah, but now that them know say you're illegal, them realize that no, them can't give person who illegal 500,000 pound in England. Them can't get illegal here and that.
So I feel that's why them left the door open to me because at the home office you get a letter from when.
So you go sue them. You get a lawyer in England to sue them. Or
no, because it's a lawyer out here. So you now get one out there to sue them. And see. And when you realize you want them, don't give me the runaround thing, so me have to report them to the General Legal Council where them take it up in and I say them carry them go to trial. You see, because
who them are saying go trial? Who them are saying go trial? The lawyer them down here?
Yes. So me have a letter from the
no, me not saying I have the letter, but it sound kind of mix. It sound like a big mix up here. Now you want to sue the lawyer them down here because them never sue the lawyer them up there. Because them never get the thing to court.
I don't want to sue them because when they take the documents them and them I give me run I say give me back my documents them refuse to give me the documents. Yeah?
Them refuse to get the document.
Yes, so I talk on me end up at the General Legal Council because they refuse to give me back the documents because they assure me and tell me say yes, they will get me money.
Who assure you? Who assure you say you will get the money? Who assure you that?
The lawyer them down here.
The lawyer them. So one to the lawyer them when you say your fiancé did attack to up there.
No, she me and her kind of
broke up. You and her broke up.
Yeah, me and her broke up. So I talk up now me have to get lawyer down here. You see.
But you can't broke up with a woman like that who have work out things for you up there, sir.
No, and I me broke up with her,
And she broke up with you?
I broke up with her as she...
Oh, she had to pay for part of the 500,000.
Pardon me?
She had to pay for part of the 500,000.
Yes.
It never work out.
Muta, you remember one youth when English time come share when I played on James Avenue. But
from like that you want to talk about me and your memory more than when me talk about
it. No, all right. Me not got to.
Me talk about so you said me a letter, a long letter. Me couldn't bother read the letter because it's so long. So me say me will call you because you left a number upon the letter. So that's why me call you now to clarify what is so what you do now. What you do now to rectify the situation.
Well, you see, if I notice, because we go to the Glands company and then take all the documents, and I said this case needs to be investigated.
Mm-hmm.
So them look on the documents and then contact the people them.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and then say the people them now give them not straight answer.
Yeah.
You know.
You mean that in England?
Yes, because them have to run the store, but what them do, they not put the store in a few Jamaican paper or the England paper because they don't want to create too much attention.
Is that English, British paper?
North America.
Or is that North American paper, may I read?
Yes, the North American paper. But we have the full paper with the full story anyway.
Alright, so let me ask you a question now.
Mm-hmm.
Them now give the money because them say illegal. You don't have to know, you can't, you don't have the money for go back to England. The lady who did that check out things you work with you again. The lawyer them who don't have to give you a run around. So what you going to do now?
Well, we went right to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and see if she can intervene.
Intervene in the $500,000 they be clear, so?
Yes. Yeah.
How long ago you write that letter there?
It's about 3 weeks ago now.
Oh, you just write it. Alright, you have about 3 years more through yet. Oh, you mean a government them name, you know?
Alright, yeah.
One little road want to fix up the road, that's why they can't fix it much less. But, well, brethren, I wish you luck. I wish you luck, brethren, because 500... Me know you're sitting in front of you, you know. Every night you go to bed, you dream about it, you know. So, I tell you, it's rough. It's rough. So tell me something. You did at 12 years, why you never get yourself legal? I did at 12 years.
Then you are now. The lawyer, Fifth Clark, Them not tell immigration and police lock up them and go to.
No, wait there. What you talking about? The one down here, so the one up there, so.
The one up there.
So the one who wait there. May I ask you why you never apply to get legal? And that may I ask you.
Then that tell him supposed to make the application.
Yeah. So when them lock him up, how long ago them lock him up?
Them lock him up from 2012.
All right. So you say you there 12 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and no, when you come back down here,
Yeah, I'll pay for life on a year.
Oh, you mean it's your life on the year? Of course, your life on the year. You never know your life on the year. You never want life on the year.
No, man, I don't want life on the year.
The way I write me letter for come and send me, you know, so I hear me there, pan, Bridget. I hear me there, pan, you know, where you think me there? You think me in my living room, Bridget, now you hear me there, pan, and you write me, you send me the newspaper, and you send me a big letter, and you send me a number. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk to you upon the year. So you want to stop the talking then? You want to cut the conversation, right? Because I never call your name still, all right? I don't know how this virgin wrote the thing, so man. The man send me a long little letter here, send me the headline, and me call him from Irie FM. So what am I expecting to do? All right, brethren, that's how it go. All right, so that is that. Where I go play this tune, yeah? The royalties in the family, the mechanical rights in the family, man. Covering a Jamaican song in a different style. Rock style, me I tell you. Why you love give you know, my brethren from long time, the man help me for arrange and produce a whole heap of my music them over the years and tour with me for years all over the world. As guitarist, as bass player. Why you love Gibby? Brethren, me love you more than how Jesus love little children. Yeah, man, the man is part of my success as a reggae artist. Yes, we have to tell the people them that. As a reggae artist, we now wait till we can't say it. Or when him can't hear it. Or somebody who know him can tell him. Say, MUTABARUKA say, we want to big him up to be one of the persons responsible for MUTABARUKA successful musical career. Tour all over the world with that brethren. Yeah, man. All over the world. From the first tour in America to all over the world. Africa, Europe. I mean, you name the places. We have been there and done that. Okay, so we going to take advertisement. It's a cutting edge, you know. There's a brethren named Java who used to be in Philadelphia now, come forward to Jamaica permanently. He actually chronicled the first reggae festival named Sunsplash in a book. Very interesting reading the history of reggae Sunsplash. You know, we line him up for next week. We say we want to do a thing from Sunsplash to Reggae Sumfest. Very interesting. Because, you know, so when you say Sunsplash now, people are think Spain. Well, I tell you, jackass in the world level, and it's true. Because most youth in Europe now, if you say Sunsplash, they wouldn't even know, say, Sunsplash was the original reggae festival. We start in a Jamaica, Jared Park, in the 70s, and become a touring some reggae festival, touring Japan and America. I must feel good to know that I was on those tours. And the brethren chronicle who was on the Sunsplash, what year. The man even go and tell you how much money. Me remember when Sunsplash stall them was $25. What me say? Sunsplash stall them for rent a stall for sell in a Sunsplash was $25. You hear me say, mama? For sell in a Sunsplash because I used to sell food. Me used to sell food. I'm here to talk about edibles. Me here to talk about ganja edibles. But let me tell you something. Me, for years, I make ganja pudding at Sunfest, Sunsplash. And me used to perform on Sunsplash. Me have me boot at Sunsplash, I cook ital, and me have me pudding, me ganja pudding them. People come on my stall and eat the ganja pudding and can't move from the stall. And me go up on stage and perform and come back and sell me ganja pudding them. We never talk about edibles now and this and that. Them need to really regulate it still. Me agree with the regulation. Regulate it because you have some herbs doctor who will tell you say this good for that and him can't tell you how much you must take, how much time a day you must take it. He must say drink some bush. Some man go chop long a whole tree and put it in a pot and boil it up and say I make roots. Somebody easy, you know. You have somebody that tell roots out a road there, you know. Anything where you haven't said good feet, you know. If you say your foot are hurt, him say drink it. If you say your woman left him, say drink it. Anything theme roots good for. Him just chop down some tree and throw it in the pot, in the kerosene thing and boil it up. And sweet is little onion and try show you know, so boy right now you have to drink that. No guy can't get me to drink that. No guy can't get me to drink them something there. It not have no dosage, it not have no portion where you can't say, you know, that for that. And me think all of them things they should have things on label. Come on, you're supposed to buy things without label on it, you know. It's all of that, you know, but people are selling things now, you know, and expect you to just love it. So because as some man in a Rasta, I say Rasta, Muta, a man like you, if you have drink them things there, you know, and them a hold up him fist so and so. Like, this is what I talk about. Say them things I make you understand? And I hold up him fist like, yeah, you know, like you hold up him fist and I talk to them, we know, must make you know it's what I talk about. You not get me for drink that. You understand? You could have backed it up like a boy and tell me how much things it like a boy. It must have label and it must have the contents and it must have how much portion of the contents were in there. Because you have some man that make roots with all 40 different bush in there. And some ain't not sanitary like the people that we are tell on roadside. I chop jelly give you. He might chop the jelly and say, hold on there. And I'm going around the car and I go pee and come back. And take up back the jelly and keep chopping. Me don't know that with nobody, you know. Me don't know that with nobody. You understand? So what me I say is that the regulation for ganja is very important. Very important. Especially when you're edibles. We talk about the edibles. But back to the Sunsplash thing. Sunsplash from Jared Park. Remember it got Jared Park. It got Ronnie Williams Center. It got Jam World. I think it got Jam World, you know. Yes, it got Choka Cove. It got Choka Cove and it did down way down a Seawind Hotel there down at the bottom there with them Bob Marley Center. What them to let the place they must build up, you know. That was when it had the biggest crowd them down at Bob Marley Center there. For those of you remember it, when Shabba come out at the helicopter on stage. Big thing. So we want to explore that. Because it's Reggae Sumfest come now and Reggae Sumfest is not right a continuation of Sunsplash. Because we understand, say in them time that you never have no dancehall music. And now the genre come up now. And when the genre come up, Reggae Sunsplash was on its way out. And now you have Reggae Sumfest, which is mostly dancehall artists. And the reggae artists, them kind of, you know, no kind of be prominent on it. Them days there, in a Sunsplash, you'd have all Stevie Wonder, Lucky Dube, you know, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh. Me remember Peter Tosh perform at Ronnie Williams Center on Reggae Sunsplash. You did have Hugh Masekela. I think Hugh Masekela did perform in Mano de Bongo perform in Jam World. Yeah, Reggae Sunsplash it keep in a Jam World. Now, Reggae Sumfest come, we see go through a little switch and now, new management, new owners. We are going to hope to see where this bridge are going to do with it. Because they saw him say, I'm going to keep it reggae, I'm going to keep it Jamaican. Whether the artist them is from Jamaican or foreign or why, I'm going to keep it Jamaican music. Jamaican music, I'm going to keep it. We're glad say make that effort there. If you say, I'm going to keep it Jamaican music. Right now, last year was the first, or the year before was the first. How much Reggae Sunsplash got? Sumfest and a new management. I think 1 year now. 1 year, last year, yes. This is the second year I'm going to do it. We always hope that these reggae festivals do good and great. But as we say, we are going to explore it. Java, yes. I can't find the book in our brethren. I hope you can really bring forward the book before next week, because really and truly, a whole heap of people don't know nothing about some Sunsplash. All the second daughter there, she never hear about Sunsplash yet. Before she hear about it, and it is Sunsplash, she thinks it's a drink name, so. Right? And Reggae Sumfest. You know, because me and we are talking about these festivals here in Jamaica. Dozens of reggae festivals right across California and right across Europe. Dozens. That's why you can't find artists who put on a show now. Who any artist who's any artist at all. You know so them gone. You know so them gone. I have some little thing a go on. If it's even like 4 or 5 show between now June and September. Early September. June, July, August, September, yes. A feeding time, you call it feeding time. So you know say if an artist who's any artist at all, you know say him have show if you go do. Either in Europe or America them time of year, yeah. Would I did hope say we have more than one Sumfest in a Jamaica we can facilitate crowd, which you have more than one still, you know, but it's not reggae. It don't label itself reggae, like Reggae Sunsplash, Reggae Sumfest. You know the way that you need reggae if you attach to it. And that is part of the selling power or the selling point. Reggae. You can't leave out that title. Reggae. So we can't pronounce his name, but Van Gun to Fish, what's it right there? I don't want to nick up the man there, you know. I make the man pay them to take me off of the radio. But we wish you success, and we wish you the concept from the ear say you have is a nice concept. And we hope say you can tour with it to like how Sunsplash it start tour. Sunsplash it start tour. Remember, we go tour America with me, Peter Metro, Chalice, and Freddie McGregor. Yes, me, Peter Metro, and Freddie McGregor. Yeah. Okay, so, yes. So, me now we are talking about Reggae Sunsplash and Reggae Sumfest. You have Reggae Day. 1 day, the 1st of July, all the while, for years now. A sister named Andrea Davis. 1 day. Reggae. For 1 day. All over the world. Mostly internet style. Networking. Bringing together a lot of reggae lovers all over the world. We want to commend the sister upon that effort also. Yes, Reggae Day. Just like how you have Reggae Month. Reggae Day was before Reggae Month. Just like how you did have Reggae Sunsplash before Reggae Month, Reggae Day, Reggae Sumfest, all of them. Reggae Sunsplash is there. But we give thanks to know, say, the sister find it in our levels, you know, I said, through the sweat and the tears for really maintain our vibes with Reggae Day. So here we know. In honor of Reggae Day, you know, last week we did have scientists, the great engineer. So guess who we have today? Giant.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Jesus is a condition.
I don't say no one do that on stage, you know. You know, I do it on stage, you're afraid of the people, them. Eh?
No. Oh, you mean me for failure, man.
Then you just introduce it a while ago. And when we see you on stage, you're not sing. I mean,
you know much,
produce it.
Hold on now. What you mean? Let me tell the world. You know how much pressure me get from it. You know, Jesus people, them come down for me. But, oh my God, they are before Christ. You know, business with EAD people, them when them make Christ. A BC, me I deal with.
Mind the BC thing on the radio, you know.
No, BC before Christ.
No. Come on. Them call it before the common era now. Them not call it BCE.
No, them can't.
Before the common era.
Come on.
BCE, before the common era. But look at now. Big youth.
Yes, King. Yes, sir.
I'm a brethren. If you attack a certain way on the radio, you know, say me and my personal brethren.
Then you're my poet, man. Come on.
And you are my poet, too. And you are my poet. You are my poet.
All right.
Big youth. From the time we know the eye, we used to see the eye on Matches Lane. I don't know where you used to live. Matches Lane you used to live? I just go down there and through everybody.
No, you know, some move go Matches Lane from 1956. Yeah, 1 year Water Street from Lee's line in. Them time like the name Jubilee.
And that's what I want to, you know?
Yeah.
I make a Patter's Road, I grow up.
Then I'm a Water Street, a 1 year Water Street upon my birth everything.
Oh God, and 19 Patter's Road I used to live.
Then I just round the street.
I go to the beach up, you don't know. I go to the beach up as a youth and you never know.
No, nobody like that, man. Me a bad man so to the level there from me I go. I'm going to take beat up. I know you when you go to school a lot of technical and you have to pass by Charles Street, Beeson Street.
Me used to go Wesley too. Wesley.
Well, all right.
Yeah, all right. So tell me something now. Yeah, Matches Lane. Where did I go on Matches Lane? Why so much people used to the down there? So Chancery Lane, Matches Lane, and them place there.
All right. Let me give you a little history. Because some people take this thing for dibby, you know. You see like how you have uptown and you have some fancy area and all them things like Narbrook and all these places. From this on now, you know, can remember say against the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, you know, them places was residential area when a little boy I grew up before Kendall crash in the 50s, come on to early 60s, you know, man.
Yeah.
You could even drive past those places and blow on, you know.
You play juice and thing down there.
Silent zone. Yeah?
So no,
hold on. You see that the yard where me live at Matches Lane now? Count Machuki used to live in the same yard, you know. 132, you know. That time in the 50s me I talk about. Yes, my king.
All right. You, a whole heap of one say a big youth influence them. A whole heap of one say a Uri influence them. Who influence the I? Not tell me say me, you know.
That's cool, man. I mean, influence you too, you know. Tell me. You tell the world, say I'm the first
dub poet. Dub poet.
So, I saw the poetical thing coming. So, here we know. My inspiration coming from some Dan Warwick and them people there, you know. Come, I love music from the 50s, come right on, you know. 7 little girls sitting in the back seat, hugging and kissing with friends. And why, listen what the little girl says. Yeah. So that's where I start my thing from.
I know this.
That you I'm a friend, I'm a love.
Yeah.
All right, but my thing is a different craft, you know. Cause me come with a Rasta thing, you know. Yeah. But tell the people them say, oh, no make love and not war, you know. Cause war ugly and love lovely. Yeah. Do things right and make things right, and we can be good in the middle of the night. Yeah. And promise me you could do that.
You know, we realize he's one who did really listen because hit the road Jack and Cold Train. You mentioned Cold Train in some of your songs there. The last poet, some of the words are the last poet.
Automatic pistol, remote control, generics to match your soul. The kind of food them or them
last poets, from them in the 60s. So you used to listen carefully though, because you realize that you're a man who listen carefully. That you could have even graph it up in
music not no genre, you know. Yeah, music near music. So in order for being music, you have to listen to music.
Music.
From then until now, and know say it came a long way.
Yeah. So who you first record for?
You know, sir, Gregory Isaacs.
The first time you record that you know was for Gregory Isaacs?
Yeah.
That's how we him the pan Chancellor Lane there? African music.
No, man, we bring him round there, so man. Come on, Mota, man. Them time them round a Milk Lane.
Okay, tell me more.
You understand?
Tell me about the Milk Lane history there. Tell me about the Milk Lane history.
Then around there, Toot used to live, you know. Toot and Jim Brown, his friend, you know. Because Jim Brown was my good friend too. Toot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the reality of Kingston. So Toot is from Fletcher's Land to around there, so till indifferences and music now and man go and turn star. I remember says them produce me and then we bring them to the word of Jah Rastafari, you know. Cause it's a different thing, you know, between him and Little Dennis Brown, you know.
So which tune you did produce? When did produce? Gregory Isaacs produce here. Which tune? What name?
At the movie man. From the Del Herald Dunk, the movie star.
Oh, movie man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's there I said if you're coming from far in a bus or a car, man, I beg you make love and not war. I'm so sad to see that when you deal with war, say man, you gotta stay far. Yeah? Make things right and do things right to make things bright in the middle of the night. And promise me you'll do a thing like that.
So how far that go? How far that tune they go? Tell me. They go number 1, number 10, number 100.
Yeah, what happened? Me well want to hear the studio upon the radio motor. Cause that me that make tune for every time they don't see everything on radio. You hear that? Whenever I talk about no finances or nothing. Yeah, but hear this now. Nothing now go on. Boy, me a wild up Gregory. I'm miserable. So I'm saying, no, I'm going to get a stamper. And when we make press the first 100 record, me and Jadil from Park Heights, because I'm running Park Heights in New York. When we reach right in front of Denham Town, them time they are Jolly Joseph Muscle and JOS and thing. And man, I work down the liquid for the bike, Virgin. Yeah. After 12, I'm wake up after 7. I guess I'm get a vision, so I tell the people them about Rastafari, you know. And next week, make if you ride like lightning, you crash like thunder. Yeah.
It's 90 skank.
Yeah.
A big tune that. A big tune.
I one of the big one for real. And it's a one and come on, that dead off for the bike.
Still a dead off a bike too.
Yes, sir.
So the dance now, where Scotch and them used to do with it. Can you remember what Scotch and them?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, we and them.
Are you
we first go to America with dance group, you know, in a Madison Square Garden, you know.
And are you first drunk and say fire for the Pope too?
Then I never stop say so. I know, and when I go out of room, and I ask them, and the youth, them love it, because we need a bonnet, because, like we tell you, say, it's not a religion thing, you know, because these people get too religious. That's why them get some murderous virgin.
All right. We know say you make music without making versions. But a lot of the music them you make is the popularity of Big Youth is because him did take a rhythm from the singer and say put him own thing to it. How that come up?
It's we start to sing all the foreign tune them on the Jamaica rhythm, you know. Yeah, someone a chat about them, I sing J and and we start that because when Rachel said, oh baby, don't leave me this way. Me say me was born in April and christening me. Which is right, because it's summer born and christening for real.
I would have said, hit the road, Jack.
Yeah.
You just come with it too.
Rachel, because me inspired by
Rachel.
By people like him, same way, because I'm one of the great one, you know.
Yeah.
And as a little boy, when him come to the national stage, I was there.
Yeah. All right. So you take the vocals and put it on Jamaican rhythm. I also take now the Jamaican rhythm from singers and put your vibes to it too.
Yeah, because you know, say it was a different story. You understand? Because we'd have a tune with Leroy. If I should hate any other girl and forgive, yeah. And you don't know what you are. One with Dennis Brown. One man I sing life is sweet, sweeter than money. I mean, this I want to call the people tone rocking. And baby coming down and put it on your stocking because vibration what we get, because we have a different vibes, and at the same time, you show them, say them gone, but already and done, dead already. You go from mark to cemetery, and so, and it no suit a man for go to prison, because man, we take step with you, so you know, if you just do the right and stay a road.
Yeah. All right, remember, like coming up the lane, you know, you did have. For Orange Street, you have you, Dennis Brown, I think Bonnie Wheeler.
Yeah, Greg Isaac. But Bonnie Wheeler coming at the camp because I and I around the thing between me and Lego.
Yeah, Lego.
And the soap.
Yeah.
And the soap, because Gregory is the soap, you know.
Yeah.
As far as I just said the soap, he's a business-headed man.
Yeah.
Gregory like to see things happening. So me have Nigos Nagas on East Green Street and Cash and Carry up Orange Street, but it's one link, so we just used to share and keep everything and have the music.
Alright, so tell the people what was the purpose of Cash and Carry? What was the purpose of it?
Cash and Carry, remember, we were selling records, Muta. We were selling records. It's not like, oh, you see some people a star and them song #1 and me not see the song I sell nowhere.
Yeah.
With no disrespect to nobody, you know, because when I talk, you know, I talk loud and I'm not. I'm not sending no bullet at no one and not putting down nobody. I just like to talk like I know it is. So, music used to sell. When we make tune, and tune nice, people are buying it, them coming from foreign, you have wholesale, dear countryman coming in. Song like Hit the Road, man, we sell all 1 million copy with you know, how much producers pirate it, because we're just making these things and we don't know a heck about the business. You know?
Yeah. So you never used to, Cash and Carry never used to have management.
Then the Lego Beast, them, and you know, so we manage with a fear. And we pay to learn. Because sometimes you have to act, you know, cause even the foreign company watch people like we, because these people set up companies, you know, and putting out record. Apple, all of them people that send come call me, but I don't know it, because I burn so much that I don't even know who to trust, family. Because I don't trust God, you know, I praise Him. Yeah.
All right. The Cash and Carry lead to what? Because we say Dennis Brown gone, we say Bonnie Wheeler did go film away. What did happen to Cash and Carry? Why it never last? Or what is it because the man they did?
I don't know. I don't know how the concern that Lego took, because sometimes, because we're up on the year and in regular and popular and this thing. We tell them, say, you can't sit down on the music then, you have to put them out. Get them on iTunes and...
Yeah. So you have a whole tune for you down there? You have a whole tune for you down there? Lego?
Because you remember all political confusion. I'm going to do an album for him. I'm going to do a whole album for him, man, where I say experience, teach wisdom and all them songs there.
Yeah, so what I'm to it?
Him put it out with one of them knockoff company in France, you know, because you have some company always going to liquidation.
Especially in France.
yeah. So it's out there, so that album did release. Sometimes I see them post it up on Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
Because Bunny Ruggs have combination with me and him on that album and thing, yes?
Yeah,
So Lego there on the studio lockdown and him there still and hang out there, but...
Not going on so.
Alright, it's the sense, and then the music, like you know, because we travel out of foreign, some people.
Yeah.
I work, and then some of them quarrel say, boy, white people are sell, but the white people are work, and some of them now do no work, brethren. Them a make some and I lead all the youth them astray because all the music going on. You talk about cash and carry and reggae music and dub. This music is a heartbeat music what teach the people are listening. Just me one with milk butter pan, understand. Oi. Muta, come sit down in your place and
you know, sir, you know, sir.
Call me on phone.
Me vex, you know, me vex. Believe you, me vex.
Well, Sister Elise, I never hold for talk to no people on the radio,
No, I know people.
I come do the them thing,
Yeah, but I know people. What you talk about people? Oh, you get me mixed up with people.
Oh, man. We are great. We are great musical people, and people will be people wherever they are. And
all right, you know something. You know, say Europe. I mean, I tell the people them say your fault. Right now, come to the studio long. You know, long me I tell you to come to the studio, and you to carry me go around it so I come back around it so.
Yeah, I know
to me about for. Me have to take come again
about the road. More time in like drive go on a country.
Then me get you to the studio. A police you am bring down you am take call send police you.
Cut them on the edge, man, because our story for talk to these people in this little nice country Jamaica when they behave themselves. It's a long story now.
That's why I want to give you 4 hours, but we want about 5 years now I want to give you 4 hours for the program and you dodge me.
No, dodge, man.
Then you know which
before the time, you know.
What is the time? What do you mean not happen before the time? Are you going to make the time, you know?
Alright, so you see, now I set the time now and the cutting edge.
You don't want to go round again, no? You don't want to go round again. I go round with, hey, this is not the hour that they have to dredge. This is the cutting edge. Come on. You know, Jayot.
Yes, King Motor.
You treat me like a broad. I mean, no, say no blow float.
No. Let me tell you, see me I talk to you.
Yeah.
And enough radio station I'm turn down because I say Mama Ellis. I know me no company thing and blessed loving daughter of Zion, man. See, cause I'ma say, me no wanna interview cause more time you go on some people them ask you about when you start and everybody asks you the same thing.
No, me not ask you the same. Me not ask you the same thing. Me not ask you the same.
No,
I know where you come from.
That's why I explain it great MUTABARUKA cause I saw them go on.
Alright, me could set that time. I don't tell me about you go on tour, you know, because I come like your tour enough now.
No, sir, I'm there, man. If you come, you see me sit down right
there. Then you can't tour. Then wait, when you say tour, you can't tour Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover.
You know, long me no play. Me you just a chat about some fest or some best right name. You know, me never go to some fest, MUTABARUKA.
The one time they put me on it and they put me back. So me make the white people run out.
I was never invited, so.
Want to Sunsplash? You dey on Sunsplash though?
If me not going away. Me never go there yet. So me for some reason they don't like me. I don't care.
Jayot, you know, the first time you see your performer a foreign in France.
Yes, sir.
Yes, in a one, what them call it? It's a big tent. Them put up there and me I say wait, but look how the people them are going over Big Youth Rasta. And when Big Youth there Jamaica is like a joke business. Them people don't want to know say Big Youth are one Big Youth. Even though him can't call himself youth again. Him can't say him big, but I don't know about the youth part.
And you bring me on a one festival and rain and the people them stay in the rain and the dance.
Oh gosh, man. Me I tell you, man, it's sweet.
Because of the message. Yeah. Because the music, the message why in the music. Because the music teach the people them. All these things that them use. And belittle the music and try to corrupt it. And then some people have I must genre, I mean, I know, because I can't call people nation. You understand?
Sir. You see, that's why you're in the studio with me, you know, brethren.
No, I'm for true, man. Because
so, me could tell Jamaica now, so you're going to come in the studio with me.
Me go come in, man.
When you're going to come? Tell me.
Well, you know, anything can happen in July.
July, all right. So nobody tell me no lie too. You say July, you know.
Then of course it's June. Then you know what I mean.
Cause them say July for June.
We never out, so.
All right. So me gonna line it up for July then. Me gonna line it up.
Yeah.
So we gonna ask you a question. All right. You say
Reggae Day got start in July and we participate. Yeah.
All right. So after Reggae Day.
Yeah.
All right. And how you gonna reach down here? You me send police for you?
No man, I'll be driving over. Come on, motor.
I don't know because you attack them way. They don't have to figure out how me can get Jayud coming at Ocho so come sit down at the studio with me. As my brother.
I'm come man, cause I'm go way around Port Maria already a couple times.
Oh yeah, me see your France. Me see your France.
And nothing.
Me see your France.
Yes.
So if you're there France and you're there Germany, why Ocho that far from you and you don't like the road, the highway nice, you know?
Oh yeah, come see some big store and I drop.
Anyway,
yes.
who want heal up there because I'm here today I take part in this Reggae Day, and as a one who did say get up before a man I say bend down low, you did I say
live it up.
Live it up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we know that. We know them yesterday. Say man I sing bend down low, you are say live it up. So you know, sky juice.
And the sufferer side, yes. Cup better blow on the bag and the
51 star me never ban.
Sure.
Green Day killing. Me I tell you, a big wall a big tune, you know. Jim Screechy.
You can't call the sister
Foreman versus Fraser. I pray thee the biggest psalm song ever in the history of Jamaican music. Our translation of the Lord God Rastafari. Of course. Sure. Jesus is a condition.
Thank you, sir. Condition that they give for us to believe in. And the people them. You see it. God bless. I love Jamaica. I don't live nowhere. I don't live in no foreign. I don't stay foreign. Anytime I go foreign, I'm miserable. I want to come home
forward. I let me say too. All right, brethren. Here we know. We're going to set it up. Here, sir. We're going to set it up. Give thanks. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Big up the cutting edge and big up Jamaica.
All right.
Remember, Reggae Day is not a play thing. Cause every day to me is Reggae Day. Yeah. But to them celebrate.
It's like your birthday. You're born, but you have a one day where you celebrate your birthday.
Yes, cause this music is so much, my Lord Motor. Yeah. It's so much, and these people don't know how much.
Yeah. Giving away. Give thanks. Give
praises, highly.
Yeah. Jayot, man. Hey, Jayot. The people them hear what you say, you know. Say July you come to the studio. Alright, so me mark that down. Me I go play this tune now where you hear him talk about regular where a instead of tune I'm gonna play a MUTABARUKA producer tune, you know. You never know somebody a producer. See, just like how you don't know when name Sunsplash, you believe it's a t-shirt name so.
Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark. May 31st is commemorated by the United Nations as World No Tobacco Day. But how did tobacco become so popular that the United Nations has designated a day against its smoking? In this week's edition of Jamaican Roots and Culture, we look at the history of cultivation and smoking of tobacco. The common tobacco plants of commerce had been used for many years by the peoples of the Western Hemisphere before contact with Europeans began in 1492. The plants were cultivated by native Jamaicans and often had religious uses as depicted in Taino and Arawak cave carvings. The start of the spread of tobacco from the Americas to the rest of the world invariably dates back to October 1492, when Columbus was reportedly offered dried tobacco leaves at the house of the Arawaks and took the plant back with him to Europe. Undoubtedly, the technique of smoking was also picked up at the same time. The plant was named Nicotiana after the French ambassador to Portugal, who is said to have introduced it to the French court. The tobacco grown in France and Spain was Nicotiana tabacum, which came from seeds that originated in the Caribbean. Tobacco was grown, smoked, and chewed by numerous peoples and eventually became popular. it certainly featured as an important tradable source of income from the time of its discovery by Columbus until the present day. The modern history of tobacco really starts with the design of the cigarette machine in the middle of the 19th century. A machine was patented in 1880 by James Bonsack. Since the 1920s, most tobacco has been smoked in cigarettes along with cigars and pipes. The pattern of production has shifted significantly in recent decades. Whereas exports from the USA have fallen significantly, those from Brazil, China, and Zimbabwe have increased substantially. Complex reasons lie behind the change in production pattern. Economic pressures, often following political decisions, dictate who grows what and where. In developed areas, for example in the USA and the European Union, where farmers have and still do receive subsidies to grow tobacco, specific measures and programs have also been initiated to pay farmers to stop growing tobacco or to switch to other crops. In developing countries, the cigarette manufacturers may provide seed and expertise as well as an assured market for the tobacco type they need. In other countries, cigarette manufacturers are compelled to purchase a proportion of their tobacco locally. Furthermore, consolidation of cigarette manufacturing followed the opening up of Central and Eastern Europe with the purchase by transnational corporations of antiquated tobacco monopolies. However, the practice of tobacco smoking is said to cause adverse effects on the health of the smokers. Studies indicate that smoking causes stroke and coronary heart disease, which are among the leading causes of death in the world. Even people who smoke fewer than 5 cigarettes a day have early signs of cardiovascular disease. Smoking damages blood vessels and can make them thicken and grow narrow. This makes your heart beat faster and your blood pressure go up. Clots can also form. A stroke occurs when a clot blocks the blood flow to a part of your brain or when a blood vessel in or around your brain bursts. Blockages caused by smoking can also reduce blood flow to your legs. Smoking causes lung diseases by damaging your airways and the small air sacs or alveoli found in your lungs. Lung diseases caused by smoking include emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Studies indicate that cigarette smoking causes most cases of lung cancer. Warnings are placed on cigarette boxes about the adverse effect it has on the health of smokers, but that does not deter persons from smoking. And now to end Jamaican roots and culture, here's our famous quotation from the Black diaspora. History is a clock that people use to tell their time of day. It's a compass they use to find themselves on the map of human geography. It tells them where they are and what they are. The words of John Henry Clark. For Jamaican Roots and Culture, I'm Pat Clark.
Yeah, you know, say, me love that one there. Seriously, we have to play forward that one there, you know. Tobacco. She'll give you a little synopsis of this, tobacco. But one of the wickedest things them right now, we unleash on human beings, you know, cigarette. Yeah, man. And guess what? It's legal. The ironies of ironies, man. With how men structure them system. The drugs that are illegal and the drugs that legal. Guess what? The drugs that legal kill more people than the drugs that are illegal. Can you imagine that? The drugs that are legal kill more people than the drugs that are illegal. But as men put it that way there. Men put it that way there. Feluke. Yes. You know, I just talked to a sister a while ago and she said, this brethren called me about the money. What him should have do is find somebody who him trust. Maybe him fiance, maybe I know him would have a big house down at Jamaica with that. Find somebody who him trust and give them the ticket for go get the money for him. maybe that could have worked out. Find somebody who legal in England and give them the money, give them a money out tight too. No feel no way. I mean, £500,000. You know how much million Jamaican dollar that? You can easily give £50,000 out of that. People 100. Well, watch a man. If me know me can't get that. But him say him never know still. Him never know say illegal person can. But the data tell me say illegal person can collect money out of the country that way there. As such, she said, I don't know. What I've got to check a liar still. But I lie them going to bed them over there. Okay. We are continuing the journey. We're going to play a tape tonight. I don't want to miss it, you know. Sir, I never know there are so much people interested in that the Queen Elizabeth thing last week, you know. But I about play it back this week. But this time not easy, you know. But it's a motor. Motor like you play back that tape the next week, you know. No, we're not going to do that, you know. You think someone have more things to go, you know? Enough more things. Yeah, we used to Damian Marley and couple of people own 60% of High Times share magazine. You can't believe that? High Times there before Damian born. And now we see Damian come now and Tutankhamun 60% I belong to Damian and him company. Very interesting. Not to mention, I don't know much people know about Damian buy a prison in October and turn it in a ganja farm. We are going to produce medical marijuana. You know, so we will talk to him. Definitely we will talk to him. Yeah, when I'm listening to them from Montego Bay, I remind me, say, Sunsplash should also keep up at Dover. How could I forget it? I was up there. I was performing up there. Yes, Dover. So, we talk about Jared Park, Dover, Choka Cove, one place them eventually call the Bob Marley Center, Jam World, and Ronnie Williams Center. 6 different places. And then we go America, right up the coast from San Diego, Mexico. From Mexico, San Diego, go right up to Victoria Island. No, I never go Victoria Island. Vancouver. And then cross to Montreal and then Japan. Yes, Reggae Sunsplash. So we're going to say Reggae Sumfest. I'm going to reach that level there. Yes. So here we are now. We're going to play a tape here about Egypt. Not very long, but a very insightful tape as it relates to the feminine energy and how the Egyptians them deal with matriarchal and patriarchal systems. Because you know, say a lot of the African societies in those times was matriarchal. For those of you who don't know what matriarchal mean, go look on your phone. Google matriarchal and see what it means. Can't bother go through the explanation of telling you what that means now, but when you see it, you will know exactly what we are talking about. And the feminine energy is one of the things that will get lost. When I talk about infeminine, we are talking about feminine. Different thing. You understand? Different thing when a man says infeminine as opposed to feminine. We know of the feminine energy that guide and protect all the chiefs and the pharaohs of ancient Africa. We're not talking about Africa today, we are talking about Africa then, because we have corrupted our own legacy with European influences to the point now where we can't even identify our things. Because people want to say, it's a universal world we are living in, of course, but when you look on the influence of one group of people as it relates to other groups of people, then you recognize something is intrinsically wrong with the balance. How people look on it, the balance, very important. And if people think this is a universal thing where You know, we are all one. You make a sad mistake. We should be all one. Like His Majesty say, until the philosophy that, until the color of a man's skin is not significant from the color of his eyes. We should think the insignificance of color of skin and eyes. But there's a group of people that make it the point of history to regulate other people and raise up themselves. And that system is called white supremacy, where a group of people use them color to define them status under God. And we say, sometimes when you look on the white man have a God complex. But no, we indelibly put the other man's perception in our consciousness to the point now where we brain no want wash, but them wash we brain. Them brain wash we like a car going through an electric washer. So we can't ever tell the difference now between what is ours and what is theirs. Because what is theirs now come like is ours. And what is ours now is put under feet and trampled upon. So those of us who recognize that ignorance is not bliss, because most of the time ignorance is stupidity. There's a difference when a man say, boy, right now, him ignorant, and when him say him naive. And we have to recognize how them terminology they get where brains warped up. Because when you look on it, we are warped. The system does not allow us to think for ourselves, but we have to think in the confines of the system. So that is why a lot of people go to school to maintain the status quo. Or call it quo. Maintain that. When we thought that our children would rise above what their grandparents and their parents were in, only to find out that these children is in the same position that their parents are in, is strange. Strange. So we're going to come back with this tape that is examining the feminine energy in Egypt. This is the cutting edge. Time is 12 o'clock. As you know, this program is known for bring to light certain perspectives. Sometimes the perspectives is not very popular. As a matter of fact, most of the time, the perspectives are not very popular. But the perspective that is maintained in order to really weave, you know, like you weave a carpet or you weave some rug, you weave a tapestry of fullness to the point where people can look on it and years after and say it's not a made in China something. We don't have no value after a while, but it grow with age and it becomes like, them would call it vintage wine. The older it is, the better it is. Well, these tapes sometimes is tapes where our people don't grasp them as them hear it. But we know that further down, especially youth them, the young people them who say, boy, you know, this and that. But years after, and as I said many a time before, I have had this experience that youths who used to listen to this program here, where them parents used to tell them don't listen, where them did have to hide the radio under the pillar, and them parents cuss them, and now they are off to universities, and it's them same one that send for me at the university to talk, because them realize that all of the things that them used to hear upon the program here, it's not really a mad Rasta man, even though them look mad. By the way, I decide that I am mentally ill. Because I'm still sitting down and talking to lizards, and guess what? Them talking back to me. so you don't say me bad now. It's not talking to the lizard is the problem, you know. It's when the lizard talk back to you. Well, wait there now. Don't a snake that talk to a woman in the garden and everybody believe it. So why me cannot talk to a snake? All people are call me mad to me a talk to snake. And them have a woman a talk to a snake. I mean, me a talk to a lizard and them have a woman a talk to a snake and nobody not say the woman mad. Me don't understand that. So me not so far from Eve. Maybe I was Eve in the garden. Yes, maybe I was Eve. Anyway, we want to play this, you know. We want to play this. A perspective. Egypt. Here goes.
The sheer beauty and sophistication of Egyptian artifacts entrances us. How can we unlock the code embedded in every object they made? How does the symbolism in Egyptian art illuminate their cultural values? What ancient secrets still lie hidden in plain sight? Our understanding of ancient Egyptian culture is limited. Looking at the artifacts left behind by the ancients, it is obvious that they had different values, customs, and beliefs from ours today. History books are filled with stories of war, invasion of territories, and patriarchal ways of being and thinking. Yet it seems that ancient Egypt enjoyed long periods of peace and prosperity, and a profound connection with nature and spirit. Is there a way to understand the shift?
So what we refer to as history that began some 6,000 years ago is really the advent of a different style of social organization that's typified by hierarchies of dominance, warring deities, warring mythologies, and control systems.
Vedic culture from ancient India speaks of a grand and measurable cycle of 26,000 years, consisting of ascending light ages and descending dark ages.
In the higher ages, you see this philosophy of living in tune with nature. People talk about speaking with the gods and a lot of interaction. Virtually every ancient culture has stories about the gods if you go back far enough. And you see a lot of matriarchal cultures if you go back far enough. The Dark Age times, you have this very brutal, paternalistic type of ruling.
I think it's difficult for us to understand the ancient Egyptians because we've got the paradigm of the patriarchal structures on top of it, and we're looking through our own cultural lenses.
Has world culture always been male-dominated and patriarchal? If not, what would a matriarchal system look like? Matriarchy is not the opposite of patriarchy, with women dominating and controlling men. It is based on balance between the masculine and feminine, and harmony with nature. This was exemplified in ancient Egypt, which was known in the old language as the land of Kemet. Hakim Awiyan received teachings about the Commission people in the distant past.
The ancient life system in Egypt here. The Commission tradition being passed down through the mother. Mother is the teacher. Not the father like patriarchy system. This is matriarchy. She is the goddess. She is everything in the house.
Based on the countless artifacts that show the high status of the feminine, it seems that women had the same status as men, if not a higher status.
In the museum, you have statues. You notice that the woman put the arm around the man's shoulder. And that shows, are they equal? No. Woman was the upper head in the family. When she put her arm around the man's shoulder, she's saying, this is mine. You also see that the sculpture in the old days put the feminine wig on a man's head when he promoted more to a woman than a man.
Men's wigs were layered in different lengths, like steps. Women's wigs were parted in the middle, smooth, and all one length. When a man wore a woman's wig, it was an indication that he had high status.
Only men with wisdom who wear the women wig. So these are the scribes and the physicians and the rest of them.
All you can do is go back into the old kingdom, and what you find is, is obviously a fair amount of equality. The goddesses are revered as reverently as the gods, and there's even the instance, for example, of Hathor, the exception, in that she's the only deity that has a temple column all to herself. So the great mother, the great feminine principle, occupies a very important part in the whole Egyptian symbology, the whole Egyptian doctrine. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Women could own property at as much rights as the men. They could divorce as easily as the men. Of all the known sophisticated civilizations that we have access to, probably women were better off in Egypt than they were anywhere else.
Perhaps we are looking at ancient Egypt from a patriarchal viewpoint. We should let the symbolism in the artifacts tell their own story. The frescoes we see lining temple walls in Egypt and on stone slabs in museums around the world each tell their own story. We see the same images repeated again and again in Egyptian art. By learning to decode these symbols, we can look back in time, peeling back the layers of patriarchy that cloud our understanding of ancient history. Then we can begin to decipher the messages that the ancients left us.
You have to accept that we're dealing with a period that occurred at least 5,000 years ago. And the little we know of it comes from archaic texts that were written in a very occult and esoteric manner. They weren't meant for you and me.
The secrets of the ancient Egyptians were not for the commoners.
They were meant for a very, very small group of elites who had to be initiated over many, many years to appreciate what these texts said.
They were for the high-level initiates, which were people who were trained, and they would go through different initiations, tests, that would help them be wise, that would help them confront their fears, that would balance them in the body, mind, and emotions.
Initiates were students who were given rudimentary instruction on the mystery traditions of Mayan and Egyptian cosmic cycles.
As they approached higher levels of consciousness, they came to respect different aspects of themselves that were represented in the feminine and the masculine. But they went further and called it sacred feminine and sacred masculine, which meant the purest form that was actually connected to the two hemispheres of the brain.
Feminine consciousness corresponds to the right hemisphere of the brain and the left side of the body. In contrast, masculine consciousness corresponds to the left side of the brain and the right side of the body. Patriarchal consciousness focuses on history, linear time, dogma, rationality, waking reality, and science. Matriarchal consciousness focuses on eternity, cycles of time, ritual, magic, altered states, and art. If we examine the art, we can see the characters almost always have one foot slightly forward. In some instances, they take a big step forward. In each scene, the goddess has her left foot slightly leading, showing awareness of the feminine principles of timelessness and magic. The pharaoh, however, takes a large step with his right foot. This shows that he is grounded in the masculine. Similarly, we often see images with two left hands. It has been suggested that this is just a stylistic convention, but we should not impose our ideas on Egyptian art. Left hands suggest giving, while right hands suggest taking.
In our culture, we've practically erased the feminine in favor of the masculine. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Art, music isn't as important. And our society is completely unbalanced because of it. The ancients knew that you could not achieve high states of consciousness without these being in balance. And so they revered the pure qualities of either. And so when we say sacred feminine and sacred masculine, this was the highest form of respect, so that the female would have both feminine and masculine balanced within her, and the male would have both feminine and masculine balanced within him.
Balance between the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine runs deep in Egyptian symbolism. We see gods and goddesses carrying a crook, a flail, and a staff in various combinations. The crook represents the balance of the emotions. The flail symbolizes the balance of the mind. And the staff depicts the balance of the body. Once balance of the body, the mind, and the emotions was achieved, consciousness could develop. Notice the staff always has the head of a bird and a forked base. The staff never touches the ground. This indicates that we are spiritual beings having an earth experience. We are incarnated here, but our souls can go beyond the earthly plane. Egyptian temples were places where spiritual work was done. An arch with a winged disc is always found at the entrance to temples. The winged disc depicts a vulture and a snake.
Snake been taken as a symbol of masculine, and the vulture is feminine.
The feminine and the masculine had to be in balance. The lower self was to surrender to the higher self in order to enter the sacred space. This meant that the ego of the everyday world had to step aside, while the higher self connected with cosmic energy.
Vulture can fly, snake can't fly, but both have the same glands. System of life is based on glands.
The glands were the most important features of the human being.
One of the most misunderstood functions of the human body today is our glandular or endocrine system. Glands secrete hormones that trigger reproduction. Fertility and procreation had high value in Egyptian ideology.
The ancients were very much in tune with how the energy systems in the body, or the chakras, as the East Indians would talk about them, were connected to the glands.
Ancient teachings speak of 7 energy centers in the body called chakras. Parallels occur between the concepts of chakras, or energy centers in the body, and our glands. It appears they are two ways of describing the same thing, through spirituality and through science. Ancient Egyptians had a holistic understanding of the significance of the glands and their central role in reproduction and in consciousness. If we can decode the symbols, we see that the sacredness of procreation is readily visible in ancient Egyptian art.
When you see a boy or a man, you see a kind of a bottle on his head. That is not a bottle or not a white crown symbolizing Upper Egypt, as my colleagues and the scholars say. No, this is a gland in the human body known as the thymus, located behind the lungs.
The thymus is most active when a baby is in utero. It continues to be active until puberty. Then it begins to shrink and is atrophied when we stop being fertile. It was a critical activator of consciousness.
The red crown is another. It's the womb, the placenta. The thymus and the womb are connected for the cycle of life. When you see the double crown, the red crown is the womb and the placenta. The white crown is the thymus, who has its influence on the womb. That's the symbol of one of the glands.
In the early 1900s, alchemist Schwaller de Lubitz presented a work called The Temple of Man. It demonstrated that the architects of the Luxor temple used sacred geometry, which reflected the exact proportions of the human body. As in all Egyptian temples, the most sacred space was located at the back of the temple, the Holy of Holies, which corresponded to the pineal gland. When activated, the pineal gland is said to stimulate the evolution of heights of consciousness. If the temples were metaphors of the human body, the pineal gland corresponded with the Holy of Holies. At the entrance to the most sacred part of the temple stand tall pillars representing the masculine and the feminine, papyrus and the blue lotus. The papyrus and the lotus reflect the balance between the feminine and the masculine principles and are shown together throughout ancient Egyptian art.
The blue lotus is a symbol of life, and this plant, blossom, flower, it grows in the water like water lilies. It's where the ancient Commissions believe that life starts in water and in that lotus form.
We have seen there are always multiple layers of meaning embedded in ancient Egyptian symbols. Is there another reason why the blue lotus was so important in Egyptian ceremonies? In ancient Egyptian art, we see countless instances of part animal, part human forms. What were the ancients trying to convey by these curious images?
There's a technical term for such creatures that anthropologists use. They call them therianthropes, and that's from the Greek therion, which means wild beast, and anthropos, which means man. They're combinations of beast and man. It's not an accident that all of the gods of Egypt are therianthropic. They have, of course, fully human forms, but in most cases they also have forms that are part animal and part human. So you may consider Horus the head of a hawk and the body of a man. You may consider Sekhmet a lioness with a human body and a lion's head. Or Anubis, of course, the guide of souls, who is part jackal and part human.
Egypt isn't the only place where these half-animal, half-human images have been found. Half a world away, we find clues to decode these mysterious symbols.
Throughout the Amazon today, shamans working with the powerful visionary brew ayahuasca, a combination of two plants. Very frequently they will, after their visions, when they return to the normal alert, problem-solving state of consciousness, they will actually sit down and, recollecting what they saw in the visionary state, will paint and draw the images that they saw. And the most common motif of these ayahuasca visions is the therianthrope, creatures that are part animal and part human in form. This specific characteristic of the ancient Egyptian gods is one of the things that tells me that our ancient Egyptian ancestors were using altered states of consciousness to explore the realms of spirit.
Again, we see images of blue lotuses. Is there another, less obvious interpretation of this symbol?
Altering of consciousness has been done by a variety of different methods and techniques, most commonly in shamanistic cultures. Still to this day, it's done by using hallucinogenic plants, which, as it were, switch the receiver wavelength of the brain and allow us to tune in to other realities. Of course, there are a range of non-drug techniques, rhythmic dancing, certain kinds of music, certain kinds of spaces have an effect on human consciousness. But there's a great deal of evidence that they made use of a potion involving the blue lotus and the mandrake root, possibly also the opium poppy as well, to enter a visionary state, and in that visionary state to explore, navigate, and learn about the realm that lies beyond death. And they had very concrete and specific ideas about this, which are expressed in the ancient Egyptian books of the dead, going right back to the pyramid texts. This was not a work of imagination on the part of the priests. This was a work of documentation of their out-of-body exploration of realms that lie beyond the merely physical.
Is it possible for us to learn to access other realms today? Can we expand our capacity to perceive? Do we need new ways to describe these phenomena?
If I come today and say, I saw you in my dream, you're going to ask me, what did you see? Then I say the dream. Now, did I show you? The verb see is not there, because I did see you in my dream, but not with my eyes, because I was asleep. So how did that happen? It must be a sense put all this vision to me without my eyes. But I still, when I speak, limit vocabularities to say, I saw you in my dream. No, I didn't see you. But there's no other way to say it.
Could the ancients have mastered innate human abilities that we have forgotten?
You can't tell if that bird on the tree is happy or frightened from a cat. Yeah? You can't tell that the donkey is annoyed or happy by the vibration of the sound. And that's what we want us to notice, the sound. It's not the word you said, it's how being said. You can tell if this vibration, the truth or not truth. It's natural. Healthy people, they use all the senses, the full capacity of senses.
The five senses, as we know them today, were symbolized by the scarab.
And when you see the scarab, you are looking at a human skull, divided in three sides, three sections. The front head, symbolized by ancient people as seven openers, 2, 4, 6, 7. That is the front head, and these are the receivers. You see with, you hear with, you taste with, everything. On the left side is the consciousness side, and that is the daily deeds digested every moment you look at things. But the other side is the subconscious inside, something you are unable to explain what's going on.
It seems clear that the ancients knew about the subconscious mind. They had the power to reach beyond the senses, something we began to be aware of with the writings of Freud and the advent of psychology in the early 1900s.
Don't compare people of today like the people of the ancient days. The people of ancient days were healthy. They able to use the senses. We're looking at things as a crippled people. We only have 5 senses. We're supposed to have 360 senses. 360, and only 5 is recognized. We got the glands of the sense, but we didn't use it. And any muscles you don't use, it shrinks. Obviously.
Begin to imagine that the ancients had the capacity of 360 senses. Perhaps a metaphor for the full spectrum senses could be a sphere. Is it possible for us to move beyond our 5 senses today?
Our 5 familiar senses have been evolved by evolution to connect us to the physical and material realm. But we have, I like to think of it as a secret doorway inside our own minds, which can be opened in altered states of consciousness, through which we may project our consciousness into other realms and dimensions, and those then become accessible to us.
Could it be that the ancient Egyptians were accessing supernatural realms through heightened perceptions that came from full spectrum senses?
I come to the conclusion that it's really impossible to understand ancient Egyptian civilization and ancient Egyptian spirituality and religion until you get to grips with the fact that the priests of that religion were deliberately and in a targeted way cultivating altered states of consciousness in order to access the supernatural realm. They know what shamans all over the world still know today, that in the alert, problem-solving state of consciousness that is particularly valued by Western industrial society, you are not going to have supernatural or spiritual experiences of any kind. It doesn't mean that the supernatural and spirit realms are not there, because they are. They're all around us all the time. But our senses cannot tune into them.
It seems that the ancients must have been tuned into something that allowed them to build sacred structures using monumental architecture. Today, we consider ourselves to be highly educated. Yet, engineers are at a loss when they try to build even a small pyramid. Has our system of education diverted us from what was common knowledge in ancient times?
There were no schools and universities like what we have today. We've been influenced by this system of teaching. Today we think it's a relative life, that no education, they have been to school, and how can they build a pyramid? They don't know figures, how can they do this? But we don't know that the senses we have make the impossible possible. The impossible to us, which based on ignorance, make it possible. Because knowing is a very great power, just to know.
The most important ceremony for teaching the populace how to live well was the weighing of the heart. It reveals what the ancients believed happened in the moments after death.
Initially, in the ceremony of the weighing of the hearts, the deceased would meet Anubis, who would say, "You're dead. Let's have your heart. We're going to weigh it against the feather of truth. If your heart was heavy because you had done something immoral, you weren't allowed to go to the other side. So the populace learned that they had to be light of heart in order to live well.
As ancient Egypt slipped into patriarchal ways of being and thinking, the old spiritual ideology became codified, and organized religion became dominated by the Amun priesthood.
The Amun priesthood had a lot of power, and they were in a position to have people pay for their salvation. It used to be that your heart was weighed against a feather of truth, but in later pictures of the ceremony of the weighing of the heart, you'll see Horus holding onto the scale, and you could pay the priesthood for Shakti dolls, and the more of them you had, the more likelihood you could buy the lightness of heart instead of being light of heart. Well, this is a fundamental change in terms of how to live well. And I think that we still are living in that way.
History is written by its victors, and as the patriarchy took hold, much effort was put into suppressing Egypt's matriarchal past.
There's a few pharaohs who were erased from the king's list. Hatshepsut was one, Akhenaten was one, and Tutankhamun was another.
The legacy of the controversial pharaoh, Akhenaten, was almost lost forever with the complete destruction of the city he and Nefertiti had founded at Amarna.
Now, very little was known about Amarna until there was an earthquake, and the pylons at Karnak were filled with these little blocks that had been cut up, and they used them from Amarna to just put as filler inside the pylons. So when archaeologists found them and started putting them back together, they realized there was a very large story here.
For the ancients, life on Earth mirrored the motion of the stars in the sky.
What the ancients did is they would have the capital be at Heliopolis in the north for 2,160 years, and then they would have the capital be at Thebes, which is now Karnak, for that length of time. When Akhenaten came into power in the new kingdom of the 18th dynasty, it was right at the time when things were supposed to shift.
During this time, the patriarchy gained momentum, with the Amun priesthood steadily becoming more powerful.
Akhenaten happened to have been born at one of these points of return, or beginning. He believed that he was subjugated, like all pharaohs, to a cosmic law, to the law of Mat. What happens up there, they believed was controlling matters on earth. And things happened up there that dictated to Akhenaten that he had to move his base and had to reinstall the original religion.
When it came time for Nefertiti and Akhenaten to change the capital, they knew that the Amun priesthood was in power and that they would really fight them on this.
If he had moved to Heliopolis, there would have been civil war. If he had stayed in Karnak, he would have not performed what he had to perform to follow the law, the cosmic law. Finally, he settles for a midpoint.
So instead of moving the capital back north, they decided to take a point exactly in the middle between the two. And this was Amarna.
Art created by artisans in the Amarna period is exquisite and markedly different from the art in other periods. For the first time, Egyptian royal art depicted the pharaoh and his family all together and clearly showing affection for each other.
They built this wonderful place, and they had gorgeous palaces, and people were creative. It was peaceful, there were flowers and nature, and people lived a leisurely life. But what it was a return to true spirituality. He ruled with his co-regent, Nefertiti. The feminine was honored.
In this transition, Akhenaten and Nefertiti rejected the established religion of the corrupt Amun priesthood. They had a profound respect for solar energy, known as the Aten.
And so returning to this was a big threat to the Amun priesthood. And so they plotted to take Amarna down.
They eventually brought him down, and they destroyed his city, and they reinstalled the ancient gods, and with all their iconography.
They simply destroyed everything, every trace of him. If they didn't find the ruins of Akhenaten's temples used as rubble fill in the walls of Karnak, there'd be almost no sign of Akhenaten.
Amarna was a peaceful society with great creativity and beauty. Yet scholars in traditional Egyptology continue to portray Pharaoh Akhenaten as a deformed, renegade, heretical leader.
But seen as a heretical king is quite the opposite. The heretics were the priests. He was not heretical. He, in fact, was somebody who was determined to adhere to the divine law. And he went to the cross for it.
After the fall of Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, a boy of only 9 years old, became pharaoh.
Now, because we found Tutankhamun's tomb intact, we know a lot about him and the life that he lived. Now, he was raised at Amarna. Now, some people say that Akhenaten was his father. We don't have DNA tests. We haven't found the mummy of Akhenaten. We don't know that for sure. But it's interesting that he started out as Tutankhaten, because at Amarna they worshipped the Aten. But after he took the throne, they opened the temples again. They moved away from Amarna. It seems that as soon as the Amun priesthood found out that he actually was of the Aten, changed his name to Tutankhamun, that suddenly he disappeared.
After 10 years of leadership, when Tutankhamun was 19, he died mysteriously. His mummy was X-rayed, revealing a fractured skull, suggesting a blow to the back of the head.
It seems that he was buried in a rush. His tomb is very small, and close to it, there were a whole lot of mummies that were moved in a cache and put aside. So it's almost like there were several mummies from other dynasties that were in the tomb that he ended up in, and then they took furniture from Amarna and buried him there.
Though the tomb of King Tut left us many clues, his fate remains a mystery. Another casualty of the patriarchal retelling of history is the story of Queen Hatshepsut.
Hatshepsut came earlier in the 18th dynasty. She started out by being a queen, and then she became pharaoh.
Hatshepsut was a wise and powerful leader who re-established trade networks with Egypt's neighbors, building the prosperity of the 18th dynasty.
She was certainly ruling for a long time at a period of tremendous peace and prosperity. The artwork was never better than under her reign.
Had she been male, she would likely have been remembered in history books as the best ruler of Egypt. Regardless of her success as a leader, she is still an enigma. There has been much controversy about Hatshepsut. It could be due to the patriarchy having little tolerance of images of an empowered woman. No one seems to agree on who the real Hatshepsut was.
There have been massive books written on Hatshepsut, and again, there are no real conclusions. Obviously, Hatshepsut must have been a very able ruler because she stayed there apparently 22 years.
Somehow, about 20 years after she passed, her statues were broken and all put into a pit. When they found them, they started putting them back together. But, like Akhenaten and Nefertiti, the Amarna period, they were largely forgotten because the people who came after were very threatened, and they somehow wanted to destroy all trace. Hatshepsut, Nefertiti and Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, they were the ones that really understood spirituality in some way. I suppose there was no money to be made if you weren't selling salvation.
We may never know how the high courts of ancient Egypt were run. It seems likely that the stories passed down through the patriarchal institutions of the 19th and 20th centuries may have misled us. The peace and prosperity of the 18th dynasty, particularly in the time of Hatshepsut, Nefertiti, and Akhenaten, had to do with honoring the feminine in balance with the masculine. Looking at Egyptian artifacts and frescoes, it is clear that the feminine principle played a prominent role in society and was cherished and revered. The feminine principle was articulated in the concept of a great mother who was central to the ancient Egyptian worldview and was echoed by other world cultures.
The Milky Way in the sky is mythologized in various ways, in various traditions, in various cultures around the world. And it's often thought of, almost universally thought of, as a great mother principle, the great cosmic mother in the sky.
In ancient Egypt, biology met cosmology, and both were considered sacred.
When you look at the cosmology in terms of biology, is describing events that happen inside of a womb. And the womb happens to be the womb of the mother goddess.
In both Mayan and ancient Egyptian cosmology, the center of the Milky Way galaxy is where stars are born. Metaphorically, it is the womb of the great cosmic mother, represented as Isis, giving birth.
We keep looking at how the ancient Egyptians thought, and everything fed biology and procreation. How we got here, how we came into existence, biology, and then how we left, and how our soul continues to live. And we can see that there aren't really that many symbols that aren't pertaining to balance of the body, mind, and emotions, and to balance between the two hemispheres of the brain. Once we can embrace that, then it's easier to understand the Egyptians.
That switch from matriarchy to patriarchy, I think it's the cause of what's on the world now of conflicts and disagreement and showing off power. Yeah.
Already, the beginning of the first dynasty in ancient Egypt, Egypt was moving from being matriarchal to coming into more patriarchal ways of being and thinking. There were a few periods where the ancient knowledge was remembered, but it's important to remember that there was a lot of ancient Egypt prior to the dynasties and in the early periods that did not represent those values. So the parts of Egypt that I find the most interesting come from the memory of times that came further back.
I said many times that healthy people, they got the power, which is unhealthy people haven't got it. And I want you and all my friends and all my beloved to know that you have it. And when you know that, you will work on it to come bring it stronger. As I said before, the senses, just like muscles, if you don't use it, shrink and go.
This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM. May I tell you, Rasta, this is what you call classic cutting edge university lecture. In a them hours a night, yeah. I should have started collection. Yes, I should have started collection for these things. Believe you me. Trust me, man. That was something else.
Yeah, right. Greetings, brother Muta.
Blessed man.
Yeah, me just a call because me always appear some good documentary on CD, so just you want to find out if you don't have anything on His Majesty.
You never hear me play on His Majesty yet?
No, me mean on
wait, hold on.
On a topic, is a certain topic me ask if you don't have anything on His Majesty and Brother Muta.
Yeah, which topic?
the topic of and yes, Rastafari, as in as in Jesus Christ.
If you make any statement about it.
Yeah, if you have anything.
Speech, but not
His Majesty.
I have speech when make about it, but not documentary. Speech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have anything you can say on any of these speeches?
No, listen to me, I say no. I don't have him on a documentary. I give speech like that, but I have him in books. So I would have to read what him say rather than him say where like what the documentary I say, you know. I would have to read the book.
Okay, well, the reason being I ask is because I look up on speeches on YouTube or document interviews on YouTube of His Majesty speaking on Christmas.
Yeah, then them not celebrate Christmas in Ethiopia, man.
Yeah, and oftentimes His Majesty elaborate on Jesus Christus or Jesus Christ or whatever language you want to call His name in. Because as we know about the different types of language and accents and all of these things can be something that we often debate upon.
So you don't translate Haile Selassie name when you talk about
these things.
So when you talk about Haile Selassie, you don't translate his name to English.
It's his name to English?
Yeah, when you're talking about Haile Selassie as the Emperor of Ethiopia.
You want to tell me his name in English?
No, the translation of the name is the power of the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
But I am saying to you that when you're talking about the Emperor of Ethiopia, you don't use the translated name.
Okay. But you
understand why I say that to you? You understand why I say that to you?
Yeah, I'm getting to what you're saying. But being that
what me I say to you? What me saying to you? What me saying to you? Why me saying
that they're not using the English translation and His Majesty name whenever they refer to him?
Yeah, but why me say it? Why me say that? Why me say that?
You would have to tell me that.
Oh, so you never understand why I said it to you then?
Then you can explain.
No, you're talking about the last week we talked about, the transliteration or the translation of, you just a while ago said Jesus Christ or Jesus Christus, whatsoever they want to say in a different language.
Yeah.
And I am saying to you, even though you say Jesus Christus and Jesus Christ, you still don't call him the real name when the name. You call it a transliteration of a name where Greek call it or where English call it. So that's why I'm saying to you now, why you don't translate Haile Selassie name when you're talking about him name in a different language them?
Well, the point is what I want to get to, is the point that which you is putting across at times, that he has tried to put across himself as the King of Kings about Jesus Christus.
Who put across himself? Who put across himself as King of Kings?
His Majesty put across his information that he has put across pertaining to Jesus Christ. There is information out there that His Majesty has put across to the world.
No, but I never
that
said
he wanted people to know about what his thoughts on him is.
Yeah, man. Can say we need to have one of the oldest version of the Bible.
So, being up on this time of this dispensation in this age, being that a lot of what is going on within our country at this time.
Yeah, the Bible can't save you right now.
Yes, so what I'm saying, Brother Muta, there's a lot of things going on in our country right now, Jamaica, even though that we have grown up with the history that we have grown up with, but today is the present, and with all of what is happening, we don't want to be a contributor, to negative. We the people who is in the front of the teachings of
so I sound like I have a contribute. So I sound like I contribute to negativity.
Yes, at times it seems because now at this present moment we need something of some significance to hold on to.
So let me ask you a question. The tape from a play a while ago, you see it as a part of the negativity?
This is not the only tape, brother.
No.
Don't try to get tricky on me.
No, me not get tricky. You say me is part of the negativity.
You know what I'm talking about.
No, but you just say I am part of the negativity. But that's not you just say.
We are the teachers of today.
So and I ask you if I
in
ask
the present moment in what is going on in the country, you have to take it into consideration, brother.
So I don't take it into consideration.
You have to be careful of what you're putting across.
So I ask you a question.
Confusing the people.
I ask you a question. The two programs them you hear me do, you don't see it as a contribution to the people.
You know what I mean? I listen to you for the last.
You're not answer me. You're not answer me, you know. The two programs them when we do on the radio, you don't see that.
You want to clear up the business between Jesus Christ and Christianity.
You're not listening to me, I say. Yeah, you hear me, I say.
You want me to say more, you do, brother Muta?
No, you can't tell me what to do.
You honor the king.
No, don't tell me what to do. You ask, but you don't answer me.
You have to take over the king work.
Yeah, me I
we are going like you want to contradict the king and want blaspheme against the king.
You're going to answer me, you're not answer me.
Against the king, you know, brother.
Me will lock you off, you know.
Me no business you want.
You're not answer me. You answer me. You're not answer me. All right, blaspheme against the king. Yeah. Why me know when a man a come with something to come blast me? Me just know from him start. The tone, me just know say that him a go come do now. Blast me. Me know him start out soft and nice and yeah, but it always come out that way there. Me I tell you, say this is not a Rasta program, you know. Me I tell you that, you know, straight up. This is not a Rasta program. It's a Rasta man officiate the program, but it's not a Rasta program. I want to apologize to my brethren Philip Henry, you know. Yes, Henry. Why me I tell you, I don't even have no explanation right now. But I apologize to the eye. Give him say the eye is a devoted cutting edge fan, just like the brethren just called a while ago. But I couldn't make it. Believe you me, I couldn't make it. Trust me. So I hope you accept the apology. And I said publicly too. I apologize to the eye. Yes.
EL Muta, what on?
Yeah, man. Step cutting edge. See that.
All right. The thing where I want to listen to the documentary kind of pieces. Maybe I get to listen to the whole light as I'm not like, but very interesting. Very interesting, very informative. I think you played that already, right?
No, me never played that yet. Me play some of the things them outline in there.
Right.
Me play it from other people.
Right. All right. So the idea them, we probably hear them already, basically, as well. What was one of the interesting thing we note in the lady when the lady was narrating in a fair comment? Well, she made a very important comment where me, in a recent time may I express that. I just experience a consciousness that I may talk it to people, and that is when you're looking at history, at historical events, and you're looking in the past. When you look at it, and you're looking at it based on what you read and some of what you see on documentary and some of what people tell you, and you form your own kind of understanding of what it would have been like. But she made an important point when she was talking about the patriarchal and the matriarchal society, and she said when we looking back, when we remove the layers of patriarchal thinking, we can see it from a different light.
The matriarchal system.
Exactly. Yes. And no, that is a very important statement, because all of us, and I can say that, all of us, when we look back at history, we look at it through a particular lens.
Yeah, patriarchal lens.
Yeah, well, that isn't patriarchal, but I'm just talking about other things with history. Yeah. Not just patriarchal and matriarchal, but just history in general. Yeah. We tend to look back at history through a particular lens, probably the lens we read it through.
The conqueror.
Right. Yeah. Or even so, through the conqueror. Because the conqueror write history. But I'll go even a little more detail than just the conqueror. What me really look back is that how we tend to be kind of, for want of a better word, biased. We tend to be kind of biased when we are thinking about history, because we're biased based on what we read, and that just kind of form of an opinion of what the times was like. Why I said that, Muta, is because when I look back at, like, say, the Middle Ages and them time there was a way I used to look at it, and then may encounter other information when may I see it through a whole different light. Like, for example, like for example, slavery, then for argument's sake, right? All we think about slavery is a kind of a general connotation across most people when we talk to or when we experience when we talk about slavery. It's a kind of one-track thing. We tend to not kind of see into certain details or certain things like my time. For example, like now, the transition we want to make now, Muta, with technology. In the future, this period where the technology, where we have phased over into the technology fully, in the future, this time might be forgotten.
All right, no, but tell me something. Go back to the slavery thing. Tell me what is it
that would have changed?
No, that we are look on, that we are say, you know.
All right, like for example, one of the things where information we may glean or may kind of have a different outlook is that slavery was, say, mostly or strictly from Africa. People were taken from, I mean, after the indentured workers and so on, and they were going for the slaves then. It's like there was this thing in my mind saying, I just Africa alone.
No.
That come from.
No, man, slavery exists all over. European line slavery. The word slave in itself is a European word. You know?
Right. Yeah,
absolutely. So slavery did involve, you know, the French and the British, you know, and them here. But what happened now is that there's a thing named chattel slavery.
Right, and the slave trade.
Yeah, the slavery, the chattel slavery is a different kind of slavery.
Right.
So we one must not believe or accept the notion that slavery never exists before African
the Atlantic slave trade.
Yeah, but what we are looking at now is the legitimization of this slave trade.
Right.
Where one country is using, not one, in color.
Right.
For power over next people,
Right.
And then now dominate those people through something with them call racism and white supremacy.
All right. So then, with that said, Muta, would you think that black people that were existing in Europe that never come from Africa in a them century, they're probably way before. So centuries before, black people, they're Africa, they're Europe. And in the time when the Atlantic slave trade was becoming popular, people in Europe, where black people were no slave nor nothing, were being shanghaied, for want of a better word, and taken down to this new world here as slaves. You think that was
from Europe? You mean from Europe?
Yeah, from Europe itself.
You mean black people taken from Europe and carried to the Caribbean?
Yeah, enslaved. You think that was a possibility? Or is a possibility that might have happened?
I don't know of Africans taken from Europe to become in chattels.
Right.
But I know of Africans who was living in Europe who was controlling certain things in Europe.
Right.
You know the story about Hannibal, and then you hear about the Moors of North Africa.
Right.
Who in a Granada for how much years?
700 odd, from 790
yes. So
to 1400 odd.
I don't know of any of them bound in shackles and chains and taken to the Caribbean. I don't
because you talk about that time, you know.
So you hear about that? You hear about that?
No, that's why I start the conversation with our outlook and history, because it's information about make us start see things through different lenses, you know.
So you see there's a time will come when we recognize Africans was taken from Europe to Jamaica, in the Caribbean as chattel slavery.
Yeah, what I'm saying, Muta, is that the information that we have been reading or accessed over time facilitates us to see it in a particular way.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying if other information is out there, you might see it in a whole different light.
Yeah.
And what may I say?
You put a proposal and say maybe Africans. One of the things them is that we might go find out say Africans was taken from Europe. And
black people did in Europe and they were taken down.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
You see, no, you're not using it as a proposal. No, you have to bring it now as a fact. Put it as a fact.
It's a theory.
Yeah, but
it's a theory because
you just so know and I say black people was brought in. You know, see, so you start to move it from the supposition to a fact thing, which is not like it did start out as.
hold on.
So now, you have to give me the information where you have now in your head.
All right.
You don't want to say.
What
where you find that black people was taken from Europe.
What may I say, Muta, is that me encounter information in recent times suggesting to me that the Stuart monarch, what did I run England, was black people.
All right, you want me to ask you now? You want me to say to you now?
Yeah.
You see now, you sound like the bridge in a while ago. You sound like the bridge in a while ago, you know. We are talking about Haile Selassie.
No, man, I mean
you know why? Because you start out one way.
Right.
For bring round something.
Right.
Which the way you're going to try to bring round to me now is that King James was black.
No, you can't prep me after that.
No, but
you prep me now.
All right, go on.
Yeah, you got prep me after that.
Yeah.
What I basically say is that black people did inner Europe up and a proliferate nobility up to way up in the 17th century.
All right.
Way up in the 17th. So what happened? What happened up to even the 18th? Because even 1776, where America get independent, the monarch.
So you tell me what happened.
I
can't get information where you get. Tell me what happened.
No, so what may I say, Muta, is that looking at it from another lens and another angle.
No, you have the answer. I'm going to make you finish it. But you say, you sound like you don't have the answer before you ask the question.
No, but you're not allowing me to speak.
Because I know you have the answer before you.
No, I do not have the answer, Muta. That's why I call and I reason with you. Come and reason with you as an elder person who has been exposed to that information. You should have opened up the conversation and hear me say.
No, I'm not going to lock you off, Bridget. You know me I say.
Okay.
You start out with a proposition, you know. But it's not the proposition you want to propose. You want to show me that you have information, which is factual, for show me, say, Africans was taken from Europe as slaves. It's not that you start with, you know.
No, but and then you're getting psychic now, because you have to tell me what you want to say.
But you admit to it.
No, come on,
you admit to it, but you admit to it.
All right. Hear the point.
All right, tell me about the Stuart.
What may I say to you is that, Muta, we have to look upon things at another lens now, because more new information has surfaced, or hidden information is surfaced.
To you, the new.
No, because guess what, Muta? Here what now? You see that thing you call the World Wide Web and this information.
But it's new to you.
Well, no man, Muta. This is what I say, no man. What I say is that there's tremendous amount of information
that was not presented long time.
And is out there in even greater detail.
So tell me about the Stuarts now and the black people and nobility. That is what you want to talk about.
No, that's not what I want to talk about. But the point I really want to make is that new information requires a new outlook.
Yeah, and the new information where you get about Africans is what?
Say that again?
And the new information that you get about Africans in Europe is what?
The information... Because you try to corner me in the mood. I mean, I like that kind of, you try to corner me down if you talk what you want me to say.
No, Bridget.
That's what it feels. That's what the conversation feels like. You want to put in a corner to say what you want me to say.
Your inadequacy, you have a problem. It is not me. It's your inadequacy.
Muta, there you go.
All right.
What may I say, Muta?
The Africans in Europe, and it's over there.
All right. So what may I say to you, Muta, is that the information that there was black nobility throughout Germany, throughout Europe, means that something happened that is not being exposed to us in the 18th century.
Like
something
what?
happened.
Like what?
I don't know what it is, but it is being hidden. Just like a lot of things.
No, but
it has been hidden. I don't know what it is.
But
it's something that should be...
You don't know what is hidden?
In terms of...
If you don't know what is hidden, all you know is it's hidden.
Because of the facts that are revealing.
Yeah, but
because I'm saying, if you're saying
something that is hidden must be known, and it's just that you don't know about it, but you know it. You know. So what you know? You know, say at a juncture in European history, you see blacks was nobility, and then all of a sudden you know to them as nobility.
Exactly.
You know that you said them. You think some idea? Me understand what you're saying. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what happened? What is your proposition pertaining to that?
And that is what my proposition is that when the Atlantic slave trade started,
they were brought from Africa, brand Europe to slave trade.
Yes, what may I say when the Atlantic slave trade kick off and start prosper, because don't think it's a 1 year event. It's all 100, 200 years before it really starts to become a flourishing business in Europe, you know.
So you come round to the argument that You didn't know where you bring toward the table. Even though you asked the question, you didn't know the answer to the questions.
No, Muta, come on, no, man.
Then you just say it a while ago. You
come
just
on,
answer.
no, man, Muta, man.
Then a reason, but you just say it a while ago.
Alright, so hear this,
the hidden agenda is that the thing is that Africans was in Europe as nobilities. And at a juncture, you don't hear about them again.
Exactly.
How is it that them do in Africa again? What you bringing to the table now is this. This is your talking now, you know. That according to the findings that you come realize is that they were taken to the Americas as slaves.
Yes.
Then all you say is you think and you believe and you...
There's no reason to it, Muta, man. No reason to it, man.
But you see, you don't know that you're not going to say before you say it.
Come on, Muta.
Yeah,
come on, man.
It's not
say one thing.
It's not the reason why you think about it. You didn't think about it before you come on the phone.
All right, Muta. All right.
Oh, you mean all right? Me say, you didn't think, you didn't think about it before you come on the phone.
You win, Muta. You win this.
No, I don't know win.
All right.
I don't know win.
Look, the people them carry come here, Muta.
Yeah.
And yesterday I reasoned a man about this now because you have your land title. I mean, sure you talk about this already. We can't own no land in the Western world.
We can't own.
We can't own it.
But you have a whole heap of people who own land on you.
Oh, tell me one of them.
Oh, you mean? Go upon them land and see who own it. Go upon them land, go build up a house and see who own it.
No, man. We are hold land, Muta. Hold land, a crown land. We don't own no land. A crown land, every land here, so.
So the Queen can't own land, but we can't own land.
But that's the joke. Here the drama them carry us so much 100 years. I'm for sure we the people them is how much 100 years here we there. And none of the generation that we can't own no land.
All right.
Because when you buy your property, the lease is telling you that the title tells you you're a land holder.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of Africans leaving Africa and coming into this part of the world, the Americas, before white people come here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, Muta. Then Chicago, the state of Chicago was founded in 1700 by a black man.
Not about 1700, man. Not about before Chicago.
All right, of course. Then when them come here, when the whole of them come here, the black people them I see. A black people, Benjamin Franklin and George Washington, and all of them I see, you know.
Not Native Americans. I have discovered Native Americans. They never come to Native Americans.
Native Americans are black people, you know. A black people, them, you know, Muta. When you look on picture images of Native Americans, straight black mouth Indian, straight European, that's the problem, you know.
Hold on. Listen to me now. You have Native Americans who is black.
Right.
But you cannot say that Native Americans is black people.
All right. And here is the thing now. Let's go to some definition, Muta, because this is always a troubling point when you talk about black people and stuff.
Yeah.
When I say black people, I mean all colored people, not everything that is not Caucasian.
Is black.
Me refer to it as black.
Like the Arabs.
Everybody with colored and not straight Caucasian.
Is black.
Is black people.
So like the Arabs is black people.
Listen what I'm saying.
No, me hear what you say.
Don't try to make me say what you want for me.
No, you say everybody who's colored.
Muta, we cannot be majoring in the minor. Let's major in the major. Yeah. I am saying that everybody we know white, colored, some blacker than some.
All right. So everybody we know white is colored.
Exactly.
All right. So you call me colored?
Yes.
Suppose I refuse to accept that definition. Am I on the wrong point of Israel law? If I refuse to say I'm a colored.
Something can be legal and not lawful, you know.
No, I never talk about legality of the law. Am I on the wrong side of Israel the law if I say I am?
You will be on the wrong side of truth.
That I am not colored.
Exactly. You would be on the wrong side of truth.
All right, so can I ask you a question now? If I say I am not black, I am on the wrong side of truth too?
If you say you're not black.
Yes. If I am not black, I am not a black person. Would you say that I am on the wrong side of truth?
That requires greater definition now.
So what is the definition of a black person?
So you never going to define what is black?
No, what is a black person?
No, you never going to tell me what is your definition of black?
No, I don't have no definition of black. You know, I talk about the
dictionary definition.
No, wait. You just said
right.
Everybody who is not
Caucasian
white
is colored.
Is colored.
Exactly.
And I saying to you,
some blacker than some.
Some blacker than some.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I know is what. You
a colored person.
You ever see me yet?
A colored, a Semitic, if you want to use that word.
Me Semitic.
If you want to use that word there.
No. If I want to use it,
yeah.
Do I use? I am Semitic.
Muta.
No, I asked you, Bridget.
No, easy with that.
No, look, I'm not cutting that. No, wait, I'm not cutting you off, you know.
It's not about cutting off.
I am asking you. I am asking you. You ever see me yet? You ever see MUTABARUKA yet?
Plenty times, Muta.
I am Semitic.
Plenty times, Muta.
No, I asked you if MUTABARUKA is Semitic.
MUTABARUKA is a colored man.
No, I asked
you. So this for the purpose of this conversation.
I am Semitic.
For the purpose of this conversation, MUTABARUKA is a colored man.
So who's a colored man is person who's not white, who's not Caucasian?
Exactly.
So I ask you now if a Chinese person is a colored.
A Chinese person?
Yes.
Of course a Chinese person.
So in other words, it's a shade of black. It is a shade of black.
Of course it's a colored person.
So it is a shade of black.
Of course.
Suppose I choose now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't define me, I must define myself. Suppose I define myself.
No, but that is what I tell you. You're gone in a is biasness.
No,
we are talking about
black.
A truth we are talking about now, you know.
No,
there's always a truth at every conversation.
Yeah, but your truth and my truth is different.
No,
that
is the thing with truth. Truth is not relative.
Oh, you mean truth and relative?
Truth not relative.
What is truth? What is truth?
What is truth? Yeah. Truth is truth. Truth is just.
No, tell me truth is truth. What is truth? Or you can't tell me truth is truth. I have to ask you what is truth. Define what is truth to me. I have to say truth is truth.
Define what is truth?
That is not definition of
truth. All right, let me tell you what is truth.
No, hold on.
No, you ask me a question now, man.
No, because me that said something a while ago.
Okay.
Listen to me now.
All right.
If I tell you, say, I am not black,
mm-hmm.
you're going to tell me now, say, I go against truth.
Yeah.
All right, so I ask you now,
mm-hmm.
how do you define black?
Anything that is not Caucasian.
So who's a Caucasian?
Who's a Caucasian?
Yes, who's a Caucasian?
A Caucasian is a man of no color, a man of no color.
Oh, so him don't white then?
A man of no, but as I said, them think they kind of.
No, we are
get down to the basis of the argument.
No, because you define one set of people as black, but you can't define another set of people as white who's not black.
I'm telling you that the Caucasians are the white people. But we
all right.
White and black.
No, so stick up in. Mm-hmm. Make go slow.
All right, fair enough.
All right. You define a certain set of people as colored,
exactly,
and black, but you find it difficult to define the other set of people as white. But you call them Caucasian.
No, I don't find them.
Oh, so you call them white. So you call them white.
I call them Caucasian white for the basis
all right.
of this conversation.
No, so you have Caucasian black too? What do you mean? You have
no, you don't have no Caucasian black.
So why you say Caucasian white?
Because you were digging in and you asked me to explain what is a Caucasian.
So and you say a Caucasian is a white person.
Exactly.
All right. So I ask you now, who define Caucasians as white?
Who define them as white?
Who define Caucasians as white?
But why are we majoring in the minor?
No.
I feel like we are majoring in a minor thing.
No,
there's a bigger point.
My mind is a child mind. We have a child mind. No, we have a child mind.
Black.
Yeah, because that's the reason go.
No, but we pass that.
No, we not pass.
No, everything that is not white is colored.
No, we not pass.
We don't know where we are.
No, but them things they're not truth. That is not truth.
What is not truth?
That is not truth. That anything white is colored.
No, you need to tell me what is not truth.
That anything white is colored. Let me not tell you anything. It is not true that anything not white is colored. It's not true.
Oh, okay. So
because you don't know, you can't tell me what is white.
No, man.
What is white? It's a Caucasian.
You're saying that then. You're saying that anything that is not white.
No,
it's not colored.
No, I'm not telling you that. You telling me, say,
no, me not tell you that.
Anything that is not Caucasian is colored.
Exactly. You don't agree with that.
And you say Caucasians is white.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I tell you now, say, who define that Caucasians is white and anything that is not colored is part black or nearly black?
History define that, Muta.
Which history? Show me the history where that.
The history we said that is that what me
which history? Which history tell you?
Give me a chance for talk. You were here.
Yeah, all
we
right.
We get 2 years for listening and 1 month for talk, you know.
No,
we listen more than we talk.
No, me a listen more than me a talk.
No, you not give me a chance.
All right, talk.
So you ask me a question.
Yeah.
Who define Yeah. Let me just say a while ago. I mean, I say history define that.
What history? Who for history? Who for history?
Me allow me to talk.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
You're not allowing me to speak.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is if you look at history carefully, you will come to realize that creation was colored people on the face of the earth up to a point.
Colored people?
Yes.
Who say was colored people upon the face of the earth?
What do you mean who say was colored people? The nature and nurture tell you that.
That is colored people.
Where civilization begin.
Oh, it's not.
Explain straight that to you.
It's not
where
black
civilization
people.
prospered.
All right,
so that. Where mankind was formed and civilization prospered.
It's not black people. It's not black people was the first people.
For the purpose of this conversation.
No purpose of which conversation.
I am saying to you, colored. May I use the word colored or not?
No, for the truth of it. No, wait there.
Colored me are you because
when creation you bring black into it, you know, Bridget.
When creation happen, the whole of that era where creation happening now.
Oh, you know,
you have different color people.
You did that, eh?
Yeah, so me I said.
No, me
you never did that. I never did no more reason. I reason it out.
Yeah, no, but
information we use and reason it out.
It's truth you talk about.
Then that's why we are reason.
Yeah.
That's what me I say.
So Chinese people is colored. Chinese people is colored.
Yes.
Arabs is colored. Native Americans is colored, which is that's how we did it originally. So all you know say is not those people was there, the colored people them, and not black people.
At the beginning of civilization?
Yes.
Is that the question? At the beginning of civilization?
Then that me ask you.
No, through the phone I go in and out. Me nah hear.
No man, you're ear man. Your mind go in and out.
Man. Just
no, there's no reason, brethren. All you know say is not the colored people them that is not black. I can't you look at me. Can you say me are Semitic, you know?
All right. So can I answer that question?
Yes.
May I say in my theory. Based on my information.
Your
and
theory.
My understanding.
Okay.
It has to be that.
It's your theory. That's not. It's your truth then.
Well, I know.
It's not the truth.
And my understanding.
No, but you just said about the truth, you know. It's the truth we are talking about, you know. You said the truth.
Yeah, but you asked me something that I cannot sit here alone and find the truth by myself.
So it's not the truth.
You asked me a question where we have to use a theory. There are other questions where we can drill down and get to the truth.
So
but this question is not one of those questions where I can sit here and drill down to the truth. So to give you a theory.
So the truth is that I am a colored person.
Of course.
By who for definition?
There's no doubt.
But who for definition that? Whose definition say I am a colored person? Whose definition it is?
By the definition of the language we are come down from all them language there into English language.
Don't talk foolishness, man. Don't talk.
All the language we are come down into translation and understanding.
Look here. I can tell you something, Bridget.
Hey,
you see the definition of Caucasian people is white, and African people is black, and China people is yellow. It's a political statement. It don't have nothing to do with no reality. It's a political statement.
Right.
Yes. So we know, say, where the people them name the Greeks,
right,
call with one name. The Kemet people say black.
Right.
All sort of name come down in black.
Right.
But here one now. You see, all of that is not a truth. It's man's trying to define other people in relationship to the political understanding and ideas where him have at the time when he must say it. So, when you say the truth, it's joke business. It's a truth.
So you're saying there's no...
I said there's no the truth.
So the
only truth where the only truth where you're sure is the rainfall from the sky.
So you say truth is relative then?
No, listen to me. I don't tell me what I say. I tell you what I say.
You know, I ask you a question.
Truth,
are you saying that truth is relative?
I'm not saying nothing like that. I'm saying that the only truth that we really know is that the rainfall from the sky and the sun light up the sky,
right,
and hummingbirds fly. You ever hear that tune there yet?
So you know, so we're not living in the Matrix now.
Oh, you know, so we're living in the Matrix?
Oh, you know, so we're in the Matrix.
I don't know that. It's not a truth. It's not kind of a truth. It's not a truth because it's a theory that it's not a truth.
Okay.
What do you mean? Oh, me know. I don't know that.
Okay.
I want to say I live in a Matrix. I don't know that.
All right, Muta.
So if I don't know that, I have to say that is part of your philosophical, scientific approach to something that you conjure up because you read so much book and listen to some other people that you come with that understanding.
You know what is interesting,
It is interesting that is not the truth. Is that truth?
No, you know what is interesting?
It's a truth. If you want to recognize a truth.
What is interesting, Muta, is that it's like when me listen to you and me reason with you, is like you stop grow. It's like you start limit yourself now.
To what?
I don't know.
You me tell you about a truth and not the truth?
No, because...
so you want to tell me the Matrix is the truth?
No, I never want to tell you that. You want to
tell me say Caucasians... So you want to tell me now say I am a colored person because that is the truth?
Yeah, man, look on the bigger point.
No, the bigger point is that I am not defining...
The bigger point that I am making. You know what the bigger point is of this call? The bigger point is that history... We tend to look at history through one lens.
No, but you keep on saying that. You said that in the beginning.
That is what I tell you.
20 minutes ago you said that. I look through one lens.
No, I'm not talking about you, man.
But I'm here you talk,
general statement, man.
But you're me you start refer to. But I'm me you start refer to.
To worldwide.
Yeah, but I'm me you refer to.
Forum to get out my point to people worldwide.
Yeah, but you get it out. They don't get it out. You never get it out.
No, but the
you know, say how people out there agree with you. You know, say how people out there agree with you right now.
I don't disapprove that, but what I'm saying to you, Muta, the big point here in this conversation is that when we have new facts, we must open our mind.
So what is the new fact that you show me a while
from a different way?
But you talk about the Stuart and you come off of that sudden. You come off of the Stuart until you hear me talk about King James. No, when you mention the Stuart,
psychic man.
I mean psychic. All right. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. All right, me could talk about truth now. When you mention, what was the purpose of mentioning the Stuarts? Tell me. Be honest now.
It was in support of my argument.
Yes.
That black people dominated Europe up until the 18th century.
Yeah, and that is not true. So
you're saying that is not true?
No, because black people was in Europe as nobilities, but them never dominate the nobility of Europe.
So how would they have been sitting on the throne of England?
Who was sitting on which black person?
The Stuart.
Me I try to show you. This is what all right. No, you know, Bridging. I tell you, say, you know.
Yeah,
the truth. You bring up the word truth, you know.
Yes.
You bring up the word truth, you know.
Yes.
All right. I said to you, why you bring up the Stuarts is because you want to talk about King James, the black man.
I feel like this conversation is not progressive enough.
True, so make it done the conversation. Give thanks. Yeah, Virgin. Cool. Yeah. Wow. May I tell you? All right. The Virgin go round and come round. It's King James. He want to tell me say it's a black man. And he tell me psychic. No psychic, no in it. The Virgin mentioned the Stuarts. And him talk now about the nobility. And him say now they must sit in as kings in England. It's King James. He want to tell me say it's a black man. Simple and straight up. And he might divert the reason I talk about what is the truth, what is not the truth. You know, I mean, Caucasians and colored people and black people. I mean, really, brethren. Really. You know the answer them already. And you ask the question them, but you know the answer. And you talk to me now, who don't know, say, you know the answer already. Because you don't come on the program with a preconceived notion about what you want to say. And now you come tell me like, say, it's just now you bring up about it like, wow, you know, say, in the 17th century, this and that. How come them was nobilities and them, after a while you never see them? And then him start out with the premise that, why is it, you think, say, he might ask me a question where I have the answer to. You think, say, Africans did come here as slaves through from Europe, him don't know the answer already. Him have the answer in him head. That is disingenuous, brethren. That is not nice of you. It's not nice of you to do that. Not nice of you, brethren. And I respect your reasoning, but when I tell him say that, him say it me a psychic, and him know within him heart of heart. Say it's that him a say. Him know within the heart of heart say it's that him a say, but him don't want to say Muta. Him want to say Muta, you're psychic. You're psychic, and that is the truth. What's the truth? Or the truth come? Where the truth come from? Him knows that King James him want to talk about is the King of England is a black man. Him knows that him want to talk about. Can I mention the Stuarts? Most people who listen to it now I wonder how Muta tell the Virgin say him want to talk about kingdom, talk about Stuart. See him come saying at the last part of the reasoning. Him saying at the last part of the reasoning. So don't make it go on like say, you know, we are run the program for a long time, we are run the program, my brethren. And anytime we don't know something, we say we don't know. You can't come tell me, say, me are Semitic. Oh, where this man come from? I say, yes, Ian.
Ian, Muta.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, man, me I listen to you, man. Mandingo.
Yes, Muta, me I tell you.
Boy, me I tell you.
Two liar dumpy come out for you one after the other.
Brethren, you know,
because listen, the two of them, them pretend say, as you say, that them have a supposition, but them already know what them want to say. You know.
Answer, them know the answer.
Yes, them already have them.
I didn't see him with the brother with the eyeless latte. Let's see him with the one. You remember telling me, no, Mr. Bridget, you start sound like the brother with the eyeless latte talk, you know.
But the two of them are the same. Is what is true. But listen, them don't know say Kingston Technical High School we go. 82 and over street, and we are Marcus Garvey. You think we are fool?
Tell the Rasta.
How do them look brother there?
No, I don't understand.
Because the Stuarts were not African. They were not so-called black. Since when you colored? Since when you are Semitic?
Remember that time me colored?
Arabs and Chinese are black.
The truth is the
Arab
truth.
and Chinese say they are black.
Him talking about the truth. It's the truth him talk about, you know. I said, look, you know. You see this the truth thing. The man know where I go say before him say it, you know. And me I tell him where I go say before him say it, and I tell me I'm psychic. Oh, me I'm not psychic.
And when you expose him attempting generalship just like the one before, the talk about you limit yourself and them thing there.
When the
meteorological because you know where them coming with and thing.
When the meteorological survey there,
you see the one before him. You see the one before him.
Yeah.
You see the one before him.
But
what vexes him, you know, is when you play the sister talking about our spirituality and religion.
I didn't mention nothing about Jesus.
Yes, that's why the heartburn, you know.
Of course.
That is why you disrespect
Haile Selassie teaching.
And you disrespect Haile Selassie because you're dealing with a thing that is thousands of years before no so-called Jesus Christ, before no Hebrew, before no Abraham, before no Joshua, before no Moses. Is that vexed, you know?
Brethren, a years me I tell people that this is not a Rasta program, you know. This is not a Rasta. Them not just play it. But me play it a while ago. The 42 thing, me play it a while ago.
Yes, they're not that vexed, and there is no mention of Jesus Christ.
Brethren, so tell you something.
That is the vexation.
I can tell you something.
And you correctly say it's an African program, it's not a Rasta program.
It's not a Rasta program. But wait now. Here's where. All right, a year's me I did a program right now. I mean, know when a person go start out, it's like them start out with do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and start saying back ways. And then them go back ways with it. You understand? Because I know say, them are going to come with this reason. The brethren know, him have been disingenuous, you know. Him know say, him are going to come with this black nobility in Europe, you know. By starting out, tell me now, say, Muta, your thing say, Africans did come here as slaves from Europe. Him know the answer we might give. It's not something we might propose. You know? It's not a proposition.
It's a setup.
It's a truth.
Him already know the answer to the question we're imposing. Yes.
Him know the answer.
Feel him smart. Feel him smart.
Well, I don't like that. I don't like that dishonesty though. I don't like that dishonesty there.
No, it's intellectual dishonesty.
Yeah, I don't like that dishonesty.
You know what I mean? And you have exposed it. Yes.
If me psychic, if me psychic. Oh yeah, I'm not psychic that. I'm intelligent. When the meteorological survey tells a rain or fall, I'm not psychic, them psychic. I study them something and realize that this going to lead to that and that going to lead to that. Simple. And that him I do. Him I say this, I mean know that going to lead to that, that going to lead to that. And him start me what me psychic. Me not psychic. It's a normal common sense.
You just use intelligence. All this nonsense about the native people in our states were black. Rubbish. It's a native thing. We know what the native people look like.
But wait, no, that's not like that. We're going to stop using the word they're black, you know. African, you know what we can work with, you know. We're going to stop using the word they're black, you know. Because the black are kind of confusing.
Yes, man, this word black. Exactly.
Confuse the whole population.
You know? And Yeah, man, and me love, me listen to the scientist interview first week and thing, and
the who?
Me love a lot of the things. The interview with the scientist, man. Me love where...
You did a big youth?
And also the big youth. Yes, me love the big youth thing, because, you know, big youth are from Tippertone days and thing. We know one another from a taller strength, you know what I mean, and thing. So me know all about the radio thing with him, a Water Street and them thing there, you know what I mean?
Me go bring me to the studio next month,
and Crutches Sam Arrows we used to DJ Prince Patrick in terms of the DJ thing to where him know that too, you know what I mean? As Eastman also. And big up to me pushing Raymond from Dunkirk. See?
You go vote, man. You go vote.
And Stucky. Yes, and strategically, because this election here today is the most important election in Britain since the National Health Service was established in 1948. Because the Tories intend to use, if they win, to finish off and destroy the NHS. And if the NHS is destroyed and other things, we as African people will feel it the most. Now, I have my differences with Jeremy Corbyn, you know. Don't get it wrong, you know. I am African, he's European. But he's definitely the least of the two evils by far. So I use the Marcus Garvey approach of dealing strategically. Because politics affects us whether we like it or not. And we must be a part of the decision making. Otherwise, we will simply be the recipients of what others decide. And there is no way in which we can have Theresa May and her Tory gang to win. Because that will mean further sufferation for African people. Because we get the most pressure as African people. The NHS will be destroyed, where our people will be, because them trying to privatize it, and in terms of increase privileges and wealth for the 5% at the expense of the 95% majority.
She make a statement, say she willing to give up human rights for cripple terrorism, or them take it to England when she say that.
No, what happened is that under the present thing with the EU, a lot of things that they want to do to take away people's human rights, they are prevented as them part of the human rights agreement that they have in with other European countries. So she's trying to get rid of that. So with Cameron and others before try to do too, so that they can do as they like with people. So in other words, whereby people here could appeal to the Human Rights European Court for justice when them face injustice here. That would be cut off. So them would be free to do any and anything to us without us having any recourse to overturn their decisions, which has happened in the past.
So shall I use terrorism?
For them.
So shall I use terrorism as
an excuse, as a pretext.
To take away the human rights.
Precisely. It's just a front, a fig leaf. Yes. Okay. That is what she's trying to do. You see? And the next thing that they don't like, where Corbyn talk about, is Corbyn talk about Jamaica. Jamaica, that little island. The Africans in Jamaica made Britain very, very rich and wealthy, the British, because at one time Jamaica, that same our local Jamaica, was the most precious colony in the British Empire. More than India, more than the States, more than Canada, and anywhere else. That same our island Jamaica. Yes, when sugar was king, was the most valuable colony in the world for the British Empire. That same our Jamaica there. See? And because Corbyn say the oath, because of that, them don't like that too. You understand what I deal with? And telling a lot of lies about him, say him supported the IRA and thing. He never did. What he said is that the Irish have the right for self-determination. Marcus Garvey also said it. He said Ireland for the Irish, India for the Indians, and Africa for the Africans.
But we see
that's supporting terrorism.
We see say them elect a openly gay person as the Prime Minister of Ireland, you know. I don't know if
yes, and he's also half Pakistani and half Irish.
Yeah. So what me I say now, how you think it look fair? How you think it look?
Between me and you right now, it is too close to call.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Before, them so-called polls was saying so much lead and so, and that type of thing. But you see, the more Jeremy Corbyn has managed to deal with the people direct, and people have seen that they have told a lot of lies about him, the gap has closed. So she's regretting that she has called it, because Jeremy Corbyn has defied the traitors within the party, the Blairites, and also the Tories on the outside. And people are seeing that his manifesto is for the benefit of the vast majority of the people, irrespective of race, color, class, or creed.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow is the day. Today, I know tomorrow.
Today, it is today.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a British citizen to vote. If you are a member of this Commonwealth, you have the right to vote also.
I mean,
that's
like Jamaica,
that some people do not know.
So Jamaicans in Jamaica can go vote for her?
Huh?
Jamaica can go vote for her?
No. You have to be living here as a resident.
Oh, I thought it's a Commonwealth people. Okay.
So for those who, if you are a Commonwealth citizen living in Britain, you have to be resident here. Yes, you know. Yeah. But let me say, this is a choice between saving the NHS and making laws that will protect the disabled people, because the disabled people are against her, because they've cut the support for disabled people. They have also come with a thing named dementia tax, whereby people will have to sell off them houses to take care of themselves if they have dementia, not able to pass it on to them children and things.
She sound like Trump, man.
This is the choice.
She sound like Trump.
Well, it's a female version of Trump.
I tell you, so like Trump, Rasta.
Yes, that's why she was so quick to invite Trump to come here on a state visit. And how Trump attacking Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, quoting him out of context when he said, don't be alarmed. What the man is saying is that we must not know the terrorists to make us become paranoid and not being able to conduct our lives normally. We must make them intimidate us. He knew that. But you know, Trump is a racist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that Trumper. Anyway, we have to move.
Yes, it's a Trumper. So people are doing the good work. And only one final thing with scientists, what scientists must know in terms of owning, is that he's one of the most brilliant engineers ever, and in terms of a mixing engineer featured on albums, and so he's an artist in that respect. But it is the executive producer who owns the production, not the musicians, not the writers, and so them have them rights and so, but it is the executive producer who finance the thing, who owns the productions. When I have time, I can go more into that.
I did that,
because that would be equivalent to you pay people for build your house, and then they say because them is the mason and the electrician on it, them own your house. No go so. And you own your house.
All right, sir. That is kind of. I did a question that still, you know, because I keep ramming it.
No, that's why I say, because I noticed you had to be questioning that to him, because you realize it can't go so. And if you notice after a while, he was wavering because he see what you was saying. So it's true. It's like if you give a lawyer money to buy a house for you, the lawyer buy the house for you, but it's your house because you're giving the money only to transact the business. Same thing with musicians. You pay them to do them work, but them do own your work.
Well, as I say, if I don't know something, I now go ram it like I know it, you know. So I'm glad to say next
what is because me pick up on where you say that is why I was determined to mention that, you know, as a correction.
And the Kingston technical in you, man. And the Kingston technical way in you.
You know that, man, the Kingston Technical High School, the first technical school in Jamaica, founded in 1896, the same year when we defeat the Italians at the Battle of Adwa.
Where Michael College rose up out of.
Originally, yes, and then Kingston Technical come there.
All right, give thanks. Yes, this is the cutting edge, and we say give thanks for the moment, Matrix in the house. May I tell you, them two last caller, no, not the last caller, but the other caller virgin, they know. The virgin. You didn't hear the virgin a while ago? You never hear the virgin a while ago? I try tell me about the truth. No. Every man have a talk about the truth, you know, like I know film truth, you know. Yeah. I want, you know, say I go play this thing here. I go play this thing here, you know. I have to play this thing here, the last thing. I know say I hear time, you know, Matrix, but you know. I go and go play this thing here, where I've been playing for years now, and I go and play it. And it's not me I say it, but most of the things them were said upon it, I totally agree with it. Yeah, it's what you say is the truth. It's a truth, but if no one say it's a truth. So then you to ask me if truth is relative. I say, but what is true in Afghanistan? What is true to the ISIL people? Them is not true to me.
It's what you can see in your mind.
All right, see there. As a man who look Arabish, he's a colored person. If he's a colored person, all right. So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it and done the program. Here we go now. Make us find it again. Teach these truths to your children.